Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Royal News Network Saturday morning live stream. We'll just give it a second for everyone to get in because there's obviously sometimes some delay on things. But guys, welcome to this week. It's been a weirdly crazy week, but also not. Because we do have obviously Harry's big visa letdown. We didn't really learn anything about his visa status, which was very, very annoying. And it's kind of like the Epstein thing where they promised a bunch and then nothing was delivered. Like there's just nothing there. And like I feel like we deserve to know. And I can't help but wonder if Harry like is really regretting living here and kind of hates the fact that everybody hates him here now. And he's like, I kind of want to go home, Meghan. She's like, no, but Harry, our Hollywood career. So that is where Harry's at. Obviously, Meghan, it's been sort of like still the fallout from With Love Meghan is still really bad. She's still being mocked across the internet. And then she tries to amend it by sending a card of some sort to a podcaster in March, which makes zero sense. By the way, it's like it's so an obvious attempt to curry favor and positive press. It's really dumb. It's such a dumb move. And yeah, telling her, oh no, don't be scared. This is the best part. What is the best part? Let's have Meghan slowly embrace or trying to promote American Riviera. No, still say American Riviera Orchard. As ever, with several completely and utterly meaningless and empty posts about like random things like her decorating a cake, strawberries, blueberries, cabbage, onions, and lemons, all things she is not selling. So that's really dumb. Like you can maybe see something with the cake she's making might reference the raspberry spread, but it's really actually quite dumb from a business perspective. The whole point of the Instagram is to sell the business. All you're showing me is a bunch of meaningless pictures of you doing like stuff around your house. I don't care. How is that supposed to help me buy your products? Again, she has her fans, they will buy, but she needs everybody else. So she needs to start acting like she actually needs to actually curry favor. Netflix came in, tried to defend her, kind of looked really lame, going, well, she sold out something 3 years ago. I'm like, sure, yeah, that's good. Good avenue to go down. Then we also have Catherine just sharing that she definitely, and I wish I'd sort of remembered, but it was a Friday last year where she announced that she did have cancer. And I sort of love the idea of doing a video maybe on her sort of quiet strength, that the real tungsten in the royal family is not Meghan Markle, it is Catherine, the Princess of Wales, because Charles apparently came to call Meghan tungsten or something because she's steely, but it's really Catherine who's steely, let's be honest. So anyways, guys, welcome. Hope you have a drink of choice here. I have my chocolate milk. I think it's Paradise or something. I can't quite remember. Anyways, and then I'm wearing actually the t-shirt. If you came with us to London in the Cotswolds in 2023, I have my Never Complain, Never Explain shirt on, which is very exciting. Okay, so we got Carolyn here. Can we take a spring break from the wife drama maybe till after Easter? I don't really believe in taking breaks. And that's simply because this is a news and commentary channel. This is not like a Mexit channel or something. I talk about news and commentary stuff, which includes Harry and Meghan, Catherine and William, the Danes, the Dutch, the Swedes. Like I try to catch everyone, especially in the Crown Report. So I don't really believe in doing breaks. Like some people do, blackout of coverage. I just don't really believe in doing that. I think it's not really my style, Liz, and not what I want for this channel to be, because it is supposed to be news and commentary, regardless of who the news and commentary is about. Lizzie B says, hi, Ms. Brittany, Ms. Pippa, and Chad. Good morning. We have Maria Angeles Marin Ramirez. Good morning, Brittany and Ms. Pippa. Why, thank you. We have Laura says, good morning, all. And asking how's Ms. Pippa feeling. She's doing good. She's back on her normal food, so no more issues. And why I was probably not as productive this week as I should have been is that there's a bird's nest on my front door. It's in the wreath I put on my front door, and I'm a little obsessed with it. And I keep trying to get a picture of Mama Bird and not totally succeeding, but she is sitting there on her nest this morning. I saw her little tail feathers. So I can see her little tail feathers. To like get her in the nest though is a challenge. Like she's very sensitive to movement. So anytime I try to get close, vroom, she flies away. Kaz says it's a great suggestion. Carol, evening from Australia. Rich says good morning from Chicago all. Heather, hello everyone. And we have Laura suggestions on what to discuss today, everyone, Blake and Justin. All right. K Coffee says, good morning from Florida. We have Ocean Girl Gal. Good morning, Brittany and RNN chat. Hope everyone is having a great day. Quite honestly, I'm tired of hearing about Harry and Meghan, except in this channel. Why, thank you. I hope like everybody has their own things that they enjoy, but it's nice to see. It's good to have variety, and maybe not everything hits you on that particular day. But we got Carol, hello, Brittany, Miss Pip on chat. We have Alice, hi everyone. We have Patricia here as well, and we got Christina. Hi everyone, Brittany, Miss Pippa, I hope you all are well. Alice says, yeah, I love the fashion videos. I need more tiaras. So true. Carol says, saw the latest video on Dan featuring Brittany. It was great. Why, thank you. Carol says, read a fabulous article on Harry's connection in the military and how Harry does not really support it and really, he doesn't really live by the code. He doesn't. And also he is very, very so like, he so inflates his military service. Like the guy was sitting in a bunker most of the time playing video games, let's be honest. Like he acts as if he was like on the front lines or something. And it's like, no, like I think he kind of gets didn't have real military service, but I also want to say, dude, you only understood the cost of war on the plane home, which tells me you saw zero action. That tells me you saw nothing. That's what that tells me. So just interesting. Ruth says, good morning, RNM fam from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Katie Gray says, good morning from South Carolina. Can you please explain to me what it means by the U.S. to be an associate member of the Commonwealth? Heaven help us if Meghan tried to use that. I had a temp job longer than she was a working royal. Yeah, I don't quite know. It would be, I think, a better trade agreement. We could, I guess, maybe potentially associate with the Commonwealth Games. I don't know exactly. Like it's not a full member. Obviously, Charles would not become our head of state, but I'm like not immune to it because it's like, let's be honest, most of this country, like our beginnings are the United Kingdom. Let's be honest. Like the foundation, most of the founding fathers were all from that region and everything. So it's like it sort of makes sense. But yeah, the only thing that gives me pause is Harry and Meghan because they will 100% use that to try to push themselves more and more as these royal adjacents, whatever. Drives me bonkers. So yeah. Bertie says, I think Meghan's products will not sell. I believe people will try to dupe the products and post them on social media at a much lower cost. What are your thoughts, Brittany, on her products? They don't have to dupe them. You can get those products literally anywhere. Like that's the dumb thing about her product launch is that you can get honey anywhere. You can get spread anywhere. You can get tea anywhere. The crepe and shortbread mixes are a little bit more rare and unique, but I think that's because there's not a market for them. Because see, here's the thing. They might have actually put those in grocery stores at some point and they didn't sell. And so there's no real point. And so yeah, it's just kind of one of those things that it's just not going to they're just not good products. You can get jam anywhere. You can get tea anywhere. You can get honey anywhere. Like none of those products are proprietary. And then she has the additional challenge of they need to be better. Like if they are at a premium, they need to be it needs to be the best honey, the best raspberry spread, the best tea. Because if she's selling them for $25 instead of $5, she has to deal with all the competitors that are $5. Number one. But number two, if the $5 competitor is better than hers, then people will buy her thing once and never buy it again. That's a real challenge here. And I have no clue what like anything, what products she's tested, like how things have gone. It's just, yeah, there's just nothing there. Alice Branson says, that sounds fascinating, Carol. I'll have to take a look at that. Team Wales says, good morning, all. Happy Saturday. Cool, but not so cool at Central Florida. My new puppy Duchess says hello. Oh, little Duchess. Christina says the Heritage Foundation believes Harry could be hiding a criminal record. Do they have any thoughts? So it's not really a criminal record, but the thing is when you come to the United States, you have to share whether or not, especially if you get a visa, whether or not you've engaged in drug use of some sort. And so the question is, what did Harry answer on that specific question? Because in his book Spare, he admits to drug use. Did he admit that on his visa application? Now it's up to the visa interviewer where they decide to go with that. But it's not that he broke the law as much as it is that if he lied, he broke the law, but it might just be that he is, oh goodness, let's say just trying to, like he got a special privileges. I think that's what they want to try to prove is that he got special privileges. Joan Jean says, good morning. What type of visa Harry has in his filing? We don't know. We still don't know what type of visa is. Water says, hello, finally made it live. Happy weekend from Maryland. Got Nancy saying hello, all. And we have Mademoiselle Rhapsody. Happy spring. Marjorie says, hi, all from train traveling to London from Waterloo. Very nice. Or to Waterloo. Dop GDX says, good evening from Singapore. Kaylee says, good morning from D-Land, Florida. And Creative Chaosify says, good morning. Hello, Brittany and RNM fam. Right. Alice says, honest question, what is the point of releasing redacted documents? It's so pointless and petty. Just don't release if you're going to do that. Yeah, exactly. That's just dumb. They're like, well, we don't want any negative or attention given to him or something ridiculous like that. I was like, that's all he's done since he's been here is court attention. Like, give me a break. The guy loves the attention. Come on. Or at least his wife does. Like, that's all they've done the entire time. It's kind of crazy. Karen says, hello from California. We also have here Deirdre Smith. Good morning, all. So all tea is brew, ready for Brittany. Thoughts out, research thoughts on all things royal. Yeah, so hopefully we got some good thoughts here for sure this morning. Because it's been, I mean, it's been like a lot has happened, but also feels like slow. But maybe again, that could be the nest that's distracting me. Hello from cold and flurries of a classic Michigan spring. We got Laura Miller here. Good morning, Brittany, Miss Pippa, and all. Happy Easter. We got Terry. Good morning, everyone. And K Coffee says, I'm drinking a mocha latte this morning in honors of Brittany's hot chocolate. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Water says, people are saying that the reason they are still protecting Harry's visa is because they don't want to upset King Charles. However, they do not get that King Charles won't care. Well, they really shouldn't care. It doesn't matter if King Charles is upset or not. I'm sorry. King Charles is not even like he's the head of the government, but it's more like a symbolic position. Like he can't declare war or sign trade deals. So upset him. It's kind of okay. And at this point, he should be prepared for it. Like if he's embarrassed, Harry's already embarrassed him enough. Let Harry embarrass himself for a change. That would be fun. Because it's like that's just I think a silly thing. Stephen, thank you so much for the super chat. Trademark subject to rejection from the U.S. Trademark 13th has received Meghan as corrected as ever application mark on March 18th progress. So she is slowly going through the visa project the trademark process and tanking the whole way. So this is one of those things again where it's just really, really frustrating that it's like she keeps making the same mistake over and over and over again. And you just want to go, honey, stop filing the stinking trademarks. How much time and money has she wasted filing trademarks that never go anywhere? Like a lot of money. It's just ridiculous. My gosh. I just don't know how somebody could be so incompetent. My goodness. Joanne says, good morning, RNN from Getting Warmer in Arizona. Carol says, I love your shirt, Brittany. Why, thank you. Heather said, my yard is starting to bloom, especially the jasmine vine. Nice. Catherine with a K says, hi, Brittany and Miss Pipper. Why, thank you. Cheryl T in Oklahoma, thank you so much for the super chat. Good morning, Brittany, Miss Pippa, and RNN, Peep, Goose, Vinny, Misty, and Foster Fern say woof and Squeaky. She a cat of meow and of indifference. Otis was adopted this week. Yay! That's so exciting. I'm so excited for all. You guys got so many Goose, Vinny, Misty, and Foster Fern. Oh, so many puppies. So much baby love. And then you got Squeaky the cat. Meow of indifference. I love it. I started watching Katie Van Skyle or something, her horse videos on Facebook. Been kind of obsessed with those. And Salem the cat, I just think is really funny because he's just like everywhere. Apparently, he makes an appearance in almost every video because he always follows them around, which I think is so cute. Like, there's a part of me that kind of wants a cat, but probably not right now because, boarding and stuff or finding somebody to pet sit, house sit, what have you. Challenged some days. Elizabeth says, good morning from bright but chilly Manitoba, Canada. So good to see Catherine looking beautiful on St. Patrick's Day. Yes. Al says, hi. Yay. Hi, Brittany. Hope you are all well. Why, thank you. December Des Magnet says, hello, girl. Hello, everyone. All right. We got Kel Cal. Good morning from Cleveland, Ohio. We have Beverly here, not 20. Rose. And we have Mary from Adelaide. It is late there in Australia. But hello and good morning. We have Heather. Princess Catherine looked great on Saturday, on St. Patrick's Day. Yes, she did. Ritz says, Harry has that permanent scowl, being angry at the world. No sympathy at all. No, I have no sympathy for him. He's done this to himself. This should not be a surprise. It's just really crazy how ridiculous he is. But yeah, that was a pouting thing from the Invictus when they did sort of the pregame thing last year. Discipline says, good morning, Brittany. With Harry's visa status in question and with him stepping back from Netflix, do you think he regrets moving to the US? Yes, he does. I think there's some ways, like living in California is lovely. It's a lovely place. The weather is fantastic. The problem is you're also living in California. There's a lot of challenges. Like costs are insane to live in California. I mean, just even gas is like close to like $5 a gallon in some places or more than that. So it's not, I would say, a super easy place to live, but I don't think he feels particularly welcome. And I think he is struggling. He doesn't know what to do. He's lost all purpose in his life, basically, because his wife has taken him away from all his purposes. And so he feels, I think, really, at the end of the day, very, very frustrated. Frustrated for sure. So it's a bit of a disappointment. So we have Honeybee says 2 p.m. here in the UK. Yes. Katie says, why does she replace her trademark attorney? Apparently she has a very good firm, but I imagine, like everything, the reason things go sideways is them. They always hire competent people. Yeah, things still go sideways. It must be them. So I think it's them. Maggie says, good morning, Brittany and Pippa. I'm loving your shirt. Happy Saturday, everyone. Yeah, we designed this for so I designed t-shirts for like each trip. This was for the first one we did. I did same comment, but different color and different crown for the Germany, Austria trip. So we've done a couple of different ones in variations. Joe Angerbread, good morning, Brittany and Miss Pippa, an R&M fan from San Ramon, California. You have water. King Charles will let Harry fail from his failure. It won't affect our relations. Yeah, exactly. It won't affect anything. Drop GDX says, hi, Brittany. I wanted to know that someone on TikTok sharing your videos and claiming them as their own. I got to get on that. There's so many who do that. It happens too often. Debbie says, I have that t-shirt. Love it. I'm so glad. Carol says, I don't get that. The podcaster was scared of her yet. Megan's response was totally weird. Yeah. The whole response thing, it was really weird. It was really, really weird. It was something that just did not make any sense. Like, why would anybody do that? Like, I just don't get it. It's like, is Megan, I mean, the only thing you could read into it is that Megan's currying favor with somebody with a large audience, hopefully to help her because she's failing. Like, it's just an acknowledgement of her failure. Creative Chaosify says, is that Miss Pippa I hear? That is Miss Pippa. She is yelling at the neighbors and protecting, by extension, the birdie nest. So I've been way too distracted by the bird's nest this week. Deborah says, good morning from Alabama. I haven't thought of this song in years, but when I saw Camel William, I just came out macho man. Very true. Very true. I wasn't expecting that to be such a, like, I thought it would be a visit more like military focused. So it'd be more low key, but like a lot of the royal reporters went. So I was like, oh, wow, this was bigger than I thought it was. Des Magnus says, poor Meghan. It's a sad story, isn't it? It is a little sad. She's getting a little desperate. Like, you feel the desperation. You feel it. Oh, you guys hear her? Miss Pippa. Christina says, Miss Pippa knows her mom is on the computer again. Yes. And she's wondering why I talk to the computer. Heather Cranford says, I love chocolate milk. Yeah, this stuff is like, it's like paradise or pasture something. It's so good. Seabass says, hello. Steven says, tungsten is hard and very dense. Yeah, so I mean, it could have been a backhanded compliment to Meghan, but I still think that, yeah, is Catherine's quiet strength is there. Anna says, good morning, everyone. Carol says, love that video concept. Please do it. Catherine is a quiet strength of the crown. Very true. Lady Aver says, good morning, all from Huntsville, Alabama. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. Roxanne says, good morning, Brittany and all. Love Saturday Live. Allsgood says, we all know Meghan spends her day planning, plotting, and scheming, but how does Harry spend his days? Doing nothing. I think he goes to the gym. I think he hangs out with his kids. I think he takes calls where he is told he is important, but they're all making decisions already without his input because they don't really care. He's just there as a symbolic figure, like for the Invictus Games, maybe better up. Do they take his actual advice? No. I imagine 9/10 of the time they don't. They just hear him out, placate him, and then send him off to play more video games. That's sort of what they do. So I don't think he has that much to do. So yeah. Christine says, good morning, Brittany. What is the difference between the Crown Report and this channel? Thanks. So what I'm doing is I'm following, and I haven't done it this week, and I should have done it on Wednesday because I did technically have time. I'll try to do it today. But it's just I take sections of the Crown Report and I put them out on the Crown Report YouTube channel so that I can be a bit separate. So that way it can cultivate maybe a bit of a different audience too. I can just experiment a little bit. I need to do probably a bit more with it, but it's basically where these sections from the Crown Report go to rest, because sometimes I tried putting them on the main channel and sometimes they performed really poorly. And the thing is, if that thing sort of happens, it can actually drag down the rest of the channel. So I just thought, you know what, that's probably just not the best idea. And I do know that based on what I've seen for other people who do it, they have large live streams and then they'll take out different sections and put them on a separate channel. And so I feel like that works well for me. And I mean, I'm still kind of debating it because it's been a bit slow going, but I'm also haven't been as dedicated to it as I should be. So that's kind of the interesting thing. But it's also a place too where like, sometimes maybe things I want to do any major royal story here on the main channel. But sometimes some things just don't quite work, or like I could just be a little bit more creative maybe over there, something to that effect. But I didn't want, because I wanted to take those bits of the episode that don't hit everyone and put them on here. But sometimes again, if it's only getting 5,000 views, it can technically actually impact the rest of the channel because it's telling the algorithm that the rest of the channel isn't being picked up. So even if I have stuff that does, even my lowest performing things, generally I don't perform as badly as some of those things. But could be too is that if you cultivate maybe a bit of a different audience, they start to perform better. So it's just kind of a giant experiment, you could say. Ritz says, to quote the wonderful Lady C, the vulgar hustler is continuing to do what she does best. Nothing. I mean, she grifting, I think, is a pretty good description of Harry and Meghan. I don't think she's not doing nothing, but at the same time, she is so behind the times. The perfectly cultivated single shot of you doing nothing, that's not Instagram anymore. That's really not Instagram. Some people can do that, but they usually are kind of like quirky and stuff. And so I see some weird Instagrams that have like over 1 million followers, and I just look and I go, why? Don't understand. But Meghan is trying for that kind of general thing that so many people do. And she has like a massive level of competition, and nothing she's doing is that interesting. And she's showing things that she's not going to sell. It's utterly stupid. It's so stupid. She should every day be posting something of her using her own products. Get the sense she doesn't like her products. Yeah. Because I think the thing is, you can sell a lifestyle first and then sell the products, but we know what products she's selling. And so I think it's kind of a mistake to kind of lean on, well, I'm just going to show the lifestyle. Cause like the lifestyle, like there's nothing there. Like, what's your lifestyle? You hang out in the garden, you bake, which you said you hated on your show, and you clean berries. I do those things too. I also cut strawberries. Do you think I should base an entire lifestyle brand around the fact that I cut strawberries? No, that's dumb. It needs to be more than just generic, banal, basic stuff you're doing. And she's just not there. I don't know where she goes. I don't know what the specific, let's say, things are, but it's like she should show herself using her products in unique and interesting ways and showing people enjoy them. Showing your little kids' hands pulling strawberries, like that kind of works for Easter, like beginning of spring, I guess. But that also is just kind of a bit pointless. Like, you need to start selling your brand. Stop, like, because I don't know what her lifestyle is. Like, Goop, you can kind of guess. It's ridiculous. It's over the top. It's wealthy. It's like kind of maybe a little aristocratic in some ways and stuff like that. Like, you can get that based on the premise and like, a focus on wellness and everything. I don't know what Meghan's brand stands for. She just says it's as ever as it's always been. What does that mean? Does that mean you're slow? Does that mean you're behind the times? Does it mean you're antiquated, modern? Like, what does that mean? She has not told us a single smidge about what this means, which again goes back to my thing. It's like, it's just a soulless cash grab because she can't define what her brand is and why it exists, what makes it different. And she does not do that as well with her products. She's making things we can all find in the grocery store for $4. So what is the point of any of this? That's a huge question that she has to answer, and she hasn't yet. Isaac Texas says, hello all from sunny blue skies in Houston. We also have here DS. Thank you so much for the super chat. Is it true South Park's coming out with a new Harry and Meghan episode? If so, members live watch. Just kidding. But if we still get our but we can still get our popcorn ready. Yes, I have not heard any confirmation of anything. There's like a lot of rumors, but I think those are more like desired, like putting it and trying to manifest. I hate that word, but it sort of fits. Like they're trying to manifest. It's not official yet. So I would be cautiously optimistic. But I mean, there's so much there to mine. There's so much there to mine. Like, you got to do it again. You gotta. All right. Steven says, thank you so much for the super chat there from the UK. 23 trademarks equals almost $90,000 in US patent and trademark application fees, which is insane. It's insane. $90,000. Like, it's a waste. She's wasted so much money. And granted, it's her money to waste. But I think to me, it comes back to sort of the incompetence of the issue. Like, you've wasted money. Not just that, but it's like you make consistently the same stupid mistakes in your trademark application filings as you did before. So it's like, what? Are you unable to sign a document? We know you love to sign things in your fancy cursive. Like, that's even the whole premise of your stinking brand. So, like, why? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. I have a hard time with it. Okay. Millie says, good morning, evening to everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. A live with a RNN with our host, Brittany and Ms. Pip is a great way to start the weekend. Will there be more merch? I need to work on that really, really hard, guys. I need to work on that because there's companies now that print on demand because I've done it through custom ink, which is not bad, but it's expensive. Then I have to ship everything that sort of gets a little cumbersome. So I think I do still have some recollections made, very sure. But the whole idea is to at some point get to I've connected with Fourth Wall before. I just need to, knuckle under. Maybe I'll do that a bit. I'm kind of wanting to not, I'm going to, I think, pre-record things for my trip in April for the most part. I'll just still do a live stream probably. It would depend. And I would do a couple other things just because I'm like, I kind of want it to be a little bit of a vacay. I mean, I'm still doing work, which is nice because then it's an expense. But at the same time, I was like, I want it to be like a little relaxing where I'm not focused so much on, I got to get this back and get this filmed to get this edited. Of course, that might be when I know Megan will drop her podcast when I'm out of town. I'm not going to really care. I don't think I'm going to review it unless it's decent enough to review. I just don't think I will. It'll put me to sleep on the plane, probably. That would be good. But all that to say, I need to work on merch. I may do that in the next couple of months here. I'd really like to get something going because I have so many ideas. One's for like the fashion channel and the main channel. It's always a time issue. Well, sometimes I get like, I'm procrastinating and then I'm working on it, which is not what you should be doing. So, never works. CCA says nice weather in Cornwall. Yes. And then Heather says, I'm so happy you're letting the bird's nest instead of removing it. Yes, guys. And let's show you here. I even have a sign, everyone, that I put on my front door because I am a dork. So it says, there's a bird's nest in the wreath. Please try not to disturb. So yeah, that is on my front door right now. Little silly, but I just want the birdies I'm like so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the birdies hatch. Alice Ransom raves. I hope those birdies do well. Me too. I watch Mama try not to scare her. Watch her little tail feathers. Shirley in Oklahoma, thank you so much for the super chat. She looked fabulous, but Princess of Wales would have stunned if she had worn a tartan coat like you asked for St. Patrick's Day. Yes. Oh my gosh, the tartan coat would have been amazing. That would have been a really unique look. It's sort of fascinating to see. I need to do like the second part of it. All the rewears Catherine is doing right now, like a ton of rewears, which I think is really good. I think it shows that because like she's conscious of the fact, I think, and it's a good conscious that when it comes to, because she was out for a year, like what she should not do, and she's not doing, which is good, is to be flashy with a bunch of new clothes. That really, I think, would send a bad message. So she's actually quite smart to stick to her sort of noted patterns and stuff like that. That's really smart of her, actually, I think. So I think that's a really, really a good move, is to delve into the closet, rewear things and everything. So Tulsi Blake says, "What do you think about Tom Quinn's book stating that he spoke to palace staff who allegedly said Catherine treats William like a fourth child?" So I think what this means is that wives like Catherine, who's like a wife, like any wife, oftentimes does sometimes have to like sort of gently direct her husband in particular ways. And you have to think, William grew up in a very weird environment. He lived in a palace. He had servants. He had like all these things that Catherine didn't have. So I think it's more like in some ways, Catherine is trying to, like she's doing with her children, she's had to introduce them to some real world concepts in a way. Now, granted, Williams lost his mom, and that's huge, but he also has a very different concept of life in a lot of ways than she does. And or like how life is to be lived, or what have you. And so I don't think it's that people are spinning this negatively. I don't think it's necessarily negative. Like there's nothing wrong with, I think, a wife trying to help her husband. And I think it's just reflects that, yeah, he sometimes, like I've heard, and it was in the Tom Bauer book, or sorry, um, Valentine Lowe book and everything, that that William can have a bit of a temper. So she's somebody who is able to kind of direct that and mitigate that in better ways. And it's not that he's like Meghan and how she bullied staff. He actually talked about, Valentine Lowe talked about Charles and how Charles would yell at staff. And then he'd kind of have a moment and then go back and be very conciliatory, saying, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, like, things got out of hand. I got emotional." And that's why the palace staff generally don't treat Charles terribly, is because he apologizes, because everybody has their moments. Everybody has their quirks. I think because of Harry and Meghan, people have become overly sensitive to Catherine and William. Guys, Catherine and William are going to be just fine. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Catherine trying to help her husband sometimes go, "No, honey, we're not doing this," or "No, that's not going to, most people are not going to react to that very well," or something like that. I think that's where she helps him a lot. And yeah, sometimes I think every wife can say that sometimes her husband is her other child. Because guys are just a little bit more crazy with things sometimes, and stuff like that. And so you do feel like, not in a bad way, but like, "Oh, honey, why did you do X?" I think that's kind of the way we should look at it, instead of taking everything so negatively. I just think it reflects that the oversensitivity to Catherine and William in relation to what has happened with Harry and Meghan. Chantal says, "Hello today from the Netherlands. Queen Max looked gorgeous in Kenya." Yes, but I heard it was like kind of weirdly, some of the events became like weirdly insulting and stuff. So I'm super curious, Chantal, a bit about that. I heard that some of that from the Dutch press that were there. So I'm very curious about how that went in some ways. But yeah, she looked gorgeous. Love the sapphires. And I love the Cartier jewelry with the elephants. Very, very classy and elegant. And of course, very Max to sort of overdo it, which is kind of why we love her. We kind of love her because Max is always go big or go home. And we need that in modern royalty. Some of them are like, "Oh no, I gotta be like demure and stuff." I was like, no, no, no. You are the queen. You are the princess or whatever. You're the future queen. Like, bring it on. Des Max says, "Very cool, fantastic scent of spring from Utah." Yes, it is. Carol says, "Hi from Ireland." Helena says, "Good afternoon, everyone from Sweden." And if you are a member, guys, I will try to keep you guys better updated as I can about the birds. So, because I know everybody else is going to get bored. I had to say I have to come up on like Thursday up to my office and work, because I was trying to work downstairs because Pippa likes being downstairs, and I was trying to be with her a bit more, but the birds were too distracting. Renee says, "Good morning, Brittany, and the cutest Pippa. Dying to know what kind of baby bird you're going to get." Me too. I don't really know. It's a small brownish bird. Like, that's the extent of my knowledge. My mom was like trying to see, because I showed her yesterday, because I have a little ladder, and you can walk up the ladder and peer into the nest. So you can see the 3 eggs, but Mama always flies away. Olga says, oh my. William looks so good in his military uniform. I wonder if H is a bit frustrated he can't do that. Probably. Deborah says, good morning, all from sunny South Carolina. Yeah, and I will say too, Harry has this weird thing of thinking that everybody who has ever been in the military ever would love the Invictus Games. I'm like, dude, there's like a small percentage of people who have been in the military who enjoy your games. Like, that's fine. I'm great for them. Great for them. But yeah, it's a little silly. Deborah says, good morning from South Carolina. We got Michelle here from London. Judy says, do you know what kind of bird? I do not. My bird knowledge is limited at best, and the bird always flies away when I try to get close. So I may bust out the big cameras here before too long with the big zoom. So maybe she is not aware of me. Margaret says, hi from Dublin, Ireland. Sleepy Fox says, good morning from Death Valley. Ooh, sounds ominous. Crystal says, good morning, beautiful. Kai Coffee says 52 in Central Florida, which is crazy. Yeah, for this time of year. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Dia says, what the heck was she thinking making that horrendous waffle for her kids? It's borderline scary, kind of serious. It probably gave me nightmares. Thank you so much for the super chat. But I will have to say, it was like, it's either the Sidley twins or Dan Wooten or something, said that the waffle was supposed to be the queen. And I was like, oh, I can see that a little bit, but also horrible. Like, why? That doesn't even make any sense. So, like, to me, St. Patrick's Day, make waffles of representing leprechauns, the actual man of St. Patrick, or rainbows. Why are you making a waffle of your husband's grandmother who is deceased, who looks like a scary, like, green goblin or something from the Green Lagoon? Like, it's weird. It's so weird. It was so weird. They were ugly, they were scary, and, like, I didn't understand why. That's the thing too. Megan does these things. It's like, she's like, "We love a theme." What was the theme, though? You made green waffles and then put a weird, creepy face on it. Like, what was that supposed to be? It's like, you commit to the bit. The bit would have actually been to make rainberry waffles. I've seen those. Those actually look really amazing. And you can put little whipped cream on the end for clouds and sprinkles. Like, it makes sense. The funny thing too is she put sprinkles on her kids' little waffles. It wasn't flour sprinkles though. Could it be, Meghan Markle, that your kids actually do not like flour sprinkles? Very interesting, because she kept saying put flour sprinkles on everything. It elevates it. She put the regular brown chocolate sprinkles that you can get at the grocery store on her kids' waffles. You can see it a bit in one of the shots. So the waffles were weird. They give nightmares. If they were to represent the queen, that's a little frightening. A little frightening and just a little bit insulting, but of course it's Megan. How could it not be insulting? She's always insulting. Anyways, so yeah, didn't make any sense. So guys, I did a whole breakdown of this, and it's just one of those things where it's like, I just don't get the point of her, especially shoving. It was like she was like shoving her phone, and like, I have my look here. She was like shoving her phone in the kid's milk so we could see it was green. I'm like, we don't need to see that it's green. The green waffle is enough, not to mention the fact that you made a single one for yourself and in a different waffle maker. Why? It's just one of those things where you could obviously tell, like, the sequence of events was not accurate, and there's nothing wrong with filming things out of order. That sort of thing happens, but it's kind of scary that she just doesn't seem to care that people are analyzing everything. At this point, she should know everybody's analyzing everything. So just stop trying to, but she can't help it. She wants to be in control. She wants to look perfect. She wants to look like the perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect hostess. And so she will do anything to make that a reality. And it's just, I mean, I've seen better people fake it. Like, she's so behind the times on the Instagram stuff. It's insane. It's so insane. Because she's trying ASMR because she's heard that is popular. I personally, in some ways, hate ASMR. They sorry, I keep talking about it, but they shared it on, like, when I was at the YouTube event, they did a section on it, and I thought they were torturing us with ASMR because I was like, stop it. All right, we have Christina Rogers, who became a YouTube member. Why, thank you so much, Christina. So we had our members only live chat last week. We'll do updates on the birds. I got to show you guys what I got at Bister Village and a couple other things. And got to get some of my vlogs done. I was like, I can't go back to Europe until I finish my other vlogs from when I was in Europe. So I don't have like everything, but I got quite a few good stuff, but yeah. Heather Crawford says, I thought Queen Sylvia and Crown Princess Victoria looked lovely. So elegant in their tiaras. They did. They did. They definitely did. Deborah says, hello, hello from New York. And we have Sir Squirrel a lot says, be sure to remove the nest material when they leave. Many birds return to have a second family or another bird will take over. So I'm kind of like, I have mixed feelings because there's a part of me that's like, kind of like, oh. So I will probably take it down because I was actually already planning to take it out anyways. I technically bought it around Christmas, so it's technically a Christmas wreath, but it really doesn't look like Christmas. In fact, it looks sort of Eastery now. And I had a ribbon in it with like snowflakes in it, which I thought, well, it's winter, it sort of works. So I was actually about like thinking this week about taking it down until I saw the nest. So I was like, okay, so I guess now I can't take it down, but I will once mama bird has left and the baby birds have left. I will take down the wreath, check out the nest just because I think that's so cool. And I may just leave it. And next year, if another bird comes by and decides to use it, that is, or the same bird, I think that's fine with me. So I don't really have a super issue with that, really. I think it's kind of cool. Hudson says a grand rising. Yes. Water says the Princess of Wales looks beautiful at St. Patrick's Day. It's so great to see the true princess back. Are the other royals doing things like the Edinburghs? Yeah, the Edinburghs are doing things, just not quite as much. So, or there's just stuff isn't covered quite as much. Because like one of the things I was doing the video last night on the tiaras in Sweden, and there were just only really a handful of pictures available. And I was like, I didn't really want to purchase another one just because it just seemed a little bit silly because there's like almost nothing there. And I'm trying to purchase more pictures to use in like Substack and stuff like that. So I'm like, got a whole collection of pictures now. So it's just a lot. So, but I just want to get everything sort of, I need to get back up on the best and worst dress list. I'm really behind on that. So we shall see. All right. Seabass says disrespectful, ego driven. Yes. Annabelle says good morning from Conroe, Texas. This is Annabelle. Yeah. Ashley Joe says morning from the little bird in my wreath nest. Chirp, chirp. Yes. Thank you. Wendy says good morning. Creative Chaosify says Harry even admitted, of course, the other soldiers weren't allowed a cell phone at night, but he was. How is he not ashamed? Yeah. Exactly. Isaac Texas says exactly. Non-named channels beat dead horse with the Harry and Meghan scenario, regurgitating info. Yeah, that's what I've seen noticed too. And it's kind of weird too. The Daily Mail is sort of doing like a retrospective. They've done a bunch of articles talking about older things regarding Harry and Meghan, and that's not necessarily bad, you could say, but it just seems like we're going over the same thing sort of again and again and again. And some places regurgitate things. Like I just try to focus on new stuff. It's good to go back and do old stuff. I did Meghan's blunders in terms of the engagement interview as a royal. I need to start doing a post royal. So like the first year that they departed, maybe. So I think I did a whole one on Mexit. If I remember right. Christina says, I wish he would stop acting like he was a contributing member of the military. He wasn't. If anything, he took up money and time for purpose. Yeah, exactly. Carte Blanche says Harry's kill count was probably on the video games, probably. .gdx says King Charles is not the head of all the Commonwealth countries. He's the head of state of some nations of the Commonwealth realm and not all the Commonwealth countries. Yes, very true. Just I don't know all the intricate details of the Commonwealth. Cal says, I believe Meghan loves living the TV show movie Pleasantville and believes that's how people really live and act, not brought up on Hollywood sets. She's stunted, whereas Harry certainly doesn't. Yeah. Seabass says, nothing special, just like her. Alice says, I think he clings to the military because it was the only thing he ever enjoyed. Probably. And the only time he probably ever felt fulfilled in some ways. Kaz Yays says, what's your view on the U.S. possibly becoming associate member of the Commonwealth to aid trade relations with Canada? I think that's fine. I don't have an issue with that, except for Harry and Meghan need to definitely know that this has nothing to do with them because they're going to capitalize on it for sure. Isaac Texas says, I tried to order honey from Buckingham Palace. They don't send honey overseas. Oh, I tried to order, guys. I was going to show a video. I was going to try to order from the Montecito Minimalist, but like the shipping was so insane that I just couldn't do it. So I had an order and I think it was like $46 or something. And shipping was $26. So I'm like, I can't really justify doing that. I was just like, I could, but also I don't want to. I may do it again at some point because I did like really liked one of their notebooks. So I wouldn't mind having that. But I'm just curious who did it. I understand they're probably actually doing the actual cost of shipping. I totally get it, but at the same time, it's a little challenging to justify. Like I was gonna try to do candles once way back in the day, and the shipping from like the specialty candle sites was so insane. I was like, I can't do it. Michelle says, I doubt Megan imagined she need to work hard after marrying Harry. I think she assumed that wealth and glory came with the territory. Yeah, I would agree with that. Heather says, yeah, Megan's products are not well thought out, in my opinion. She just wants to sell something. Yeah. Like, I guess, especially a couple of things. They're so basic. Like, the only thing the mixes might be kind of unique in some ways, but other than that, I just don't know what'll sell. And then she has so much competition. Like if you make glassware or something, yeah, you're gonna have competition too. But if you can make it like, something like this, if you make it interesting and you build up a reputation, then you will have loyal customers, even if your thing looks pretty much the same as other things. I just think tea, like I can buy it from Wittard's. I can go to the grocery store and like there's an aisle dedicated to tea and coffee. So what makes your tea different? Like, she hasn't explained that yet. She hasn't explained why her tea is better, which I think is a criminal. That's awful. Acid Queen says, good morning from Yorktown, Virginia. Happy to catch a live. Hey, Coffee says, it's healthier to her honey made in your region. It helps with allergies. Exactly. Carol says, crepe and waffle batter is very easy to make. It is. And that also is challenging. Nick says, did Meghan and Harry think that by dissing the family and basically copying everyone was going to make them popular? The lack of talent and discipline speaks volumes. I think so. Kind of think so. She just doesn't have I think, good, like they just don't have a good plan. They just did not have a good plan. I think they just thought money would be thrown at them and they wouldn't have to work very hard. Deborah says that crepes are a thing of the past. Yeah, they're kind of a specialty thing, not something everybody likes. And so I'm like, yeah. Hudson says the dried flowers are on Temu and Amazon. I'm sure you can find them anywhere, but like people don't use them because they're not a smart thing to do. Like not everybody's going to like them. Sorry guys, one of my context is giving me a bit of fits. Amelian says the other Commonwealth countries had to agree to a new member joining. Oh, that would be funny. Cyber Maven Music and Media. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late, but I just finished up watching you on Dan Wooten. Yay! Katie Hopkins and Jeremy Kyle are spot on by Harry. Why? Thank you. Yeah, it's always fun to chat with him, give like a perspective on something. It's just so cool. Kristen says, I'm a veteran and do not support what Harry has done, but we need to be careful about putting one person's service over another. Peacetime service is service. I mean, I'm not saying that, but Harry's service is wholly unique. He was kind of put in close-ish to combat to feel important, like to feel like he did something. He wasn't put there because he needed to be there. He was put there because, well, his unit was supposed to go. They can't really let him go, but they don't want him to whine and complain, so they got to placate him in some ways. That's where I come to. Seabass says Harry needs to take the kids to Africa. It's his place. Meghan knows this and can't have Harry happy. Yeah. Teresi says, I'm invested in the baby bird. Keep up the great work, Brittany. Why, thank you. I'm invested too. Catherine S says, this time next year, her items will be at the dollar store. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up at TJ Maxx or something. Deborah says, rather have Walker shortbread from Scotland. Exactly. Yeah. Like if you want, like there's a reason why it doesn't exist because Americans don't like shortbread. We're not big shortbread people. Like we like shortbread. I like shortbread a lot, but it's not something that it's like super popular. So how many people are going to like, again, the marketplace has certain things that have happened for a particular reason. So it's entirely possible that when it comes to this shortbread mix, some people have tried to do that before and nobody cared enough. And so it doesn't exist. Oh my gosh, I just realized too, I need to do my jam episode. Oh, I have most of the content, I think, on my computer. But I was moving everything over and then my computer was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm out of space. So I had to move stuff and delete stuff. Carol says Harry opened up Pandora's box by his book Spare. He did. R said she should have named her business Has Ever so she could say she loves Harry so much she even named her brand after him. Yeah. Seabass says, oh yes, Walker shortbread cookies are the best. Francis says, hi, Megan has got the trademark to start selling her goods. So here's the thing, guys. You don't actually need a trademark to sell things. You can actually sell things without your trademark. Blake Lively only filed the trademark for Blake Brown like days before her product went live. And you do this because once you put your trademark out there, everybody can see what you're doing. So it's actually behooves you not to do it. You have to have done all the necessary groundwork ahead of time to make sure nothing is in competition with it, that you're totally good, everything's great, everything's perfect. And then you file the trademark. And so you have all the groundwork done and then you do it afterwards, just because you don't want to get caught in the Megan scenario where everybody is looking for things. And so they figure out things. And so they're analyzing everything to death. And then she doesn't get anything accomplished. And that's sort of the thing that's happened with Megan, is that she sort of stupidly has done it the wrong way. Blake Brown, like if you put in Blake Brown in the trademark search thing right now, it's the first thing that comes up because it's a unique name. Nobody else has it. She doesn't have to worry about anybody competing with her, and then she can file everything. And she doesn't have to deal with people digging into what she's doing. Because that's the thing, is that if people are able to track it, then they might be able to report on it. So if she doesn't put it out publicly that way, because every trademark has to be filed publicly for everybody to see, then she doesn't have to worry about people figuring out her brand. So Megan, of course, has done it backwards. All right. Kimberly B says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Brittany and Miss Pippa. Jive, a speaker, says, I simply do not want to pay for any kind of security for them. You're not like being part of the Commonwealth has nothing to do with security. It was all established by Revok, but it's just one of those things where I think Harry and Meghan will try to use it to their advantage. TD says she's setting him up for divorce, and he bet she pulls an Amber Heard on him by setting up DV drug claims. Probably. I imagine their divorce will not be pretty. Woodpecker says, congrats on your baby birds. You will have adult birds who love you and come back. My front step is like a Disney movie, but messy this year. Yeah, my parents also like, oh, we got bird seed for you because they have birds now. But they have actual bird feeders, and like, we'll give you some bird seed for mama. And I was like, okay. Esther Smith says, good morning from Texas. Olga says, both William and Catherine looked amazing this past week. They did. Clyde says, Megan's jam is not jam, it's spread. She skimped on the fruit. Can't even do jam right. No. Well, she claims, oh, because there's too much sugar. It's like, that's how jam is made, Meghan Markle. It's sugar. What did she put in? Millie says, good morning from snowy Detroit. Wendy said, we know about the corgis. What other dog breeds do royals favor? So the queen towards the end of her life liked dorgies, I think it is. So it's a mix between a dachshund and a corgi. Catherine and William have obviously preferred spaniels. That is what her brother breeds. And so they come from there. I think Beatrice of York, she had a teacup Yorkie or something at some point. So it's definitely just personal preference. With families and stuff, they have certain dogs. I want to see Crown Princess Victoria has some sort of poodle. But it's like a small poodle, not a toy poodle, but like a mid-sized poodle. It has like tan hair. So I think his name is Rio. CCA says George, Michael, Nigella Lawson, and Amy Winehouse were denied U.S. visas due to past drug use. Their visa applications were also made public. Yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason. Anna P, good afternoon from the UK with love. Olga says Harry must be so jealous of William driving a tank. Probably. I can't help but think of the Home Improvement episode where I think Tim Allen and Jill got to each drive tanks. That was a fun show. I like that show. Kimberly B says, I'm in Maryland too. I missed you said that. Hey, neighbor. Heather said the amount of redactions were ridiculous. It was. TD says Harry lived a curated life and he wasn't prepared for the storm. Meg. Yeah. Lisa says, I think to have so much redacted was a two-finger salute to the Heritage Foundation and the public. Millie said, will there be more merch? Yes. I just need to work on it. I can do it, I think, through this company. So, but I kind of wanted to do it with somebody I knew too, so I could give, little bit of money around and stuff. So somebody in whatchamacallit. I can't remember now. graphic designer or something, because I have like a couple ideas. I have an idea. I have an idea for something else too. I had my history podcast. Like I feel like I have the name now that I like, and so I'm like, once I have the name, I feel like that kind of like gives me permission. So I might actually start grabbing those type of things. But I just need a graphic designer to make some of the things. Like I can do these simply. They're just uh wording and crowns or whatever, but I want one. There's a specific tiara one where I want somebody to actually make little versions of the actual tiaras. So we shall see. TD says hello from Scotland. We have Hannah here from Central Florida. Stunt baby. Good morning, everyone. We got Anna P. Hello. Dale says, grateful for this channel. My husband is begging me to quit talking about Harry and Meghan. So glad there is an outlet. Good, good. I'm so glad. Yeah. I mean, like that's the thing too. If you come on the trips too, and like everybody in your family is sick of hearing you talk about Harry and Meghan, you can go on a trip and talk to other people about Harry and Meghan, which is so fun. Elga says, can you do a review of the Oprah interview, please? That was actually the first long video I ever did for this channel. So if you go very back to the very, very beginning, I did a review on the Oprah Winfrey interview. I haven't watched it in many years, but I think it's still probably pretty good, would be my guess. And so yeah, go feel free to go ahead and check that out. Unfortunately, what makes this really hard, I may have to peruse, because I have most of the streaming services now. I may peruse and see if I can find it, but there's not actually a full video form of it out there that I can watch. So it sort of makes it hard to do a review, because I'd like to do a full review looking at the full interview. Unfortunately, I can't do that. There's just no way to find it. So it's unfortunate. James Bell says, Brittany, I enjoyed your channel while the top you wore on Densho looked well, not on you. Well, not you. Looked well, not you. So can't remember what I wore. So I can't say. But yeah, I like to try different things though. Carol says, hello, fellow Floridian. We have Ritz, the dunce and duncess of embarrassment. Pastry Diary says, hey, Brittany, hello from Manila. And CCA says, no one cared about upsetting Queen Elizabeth over Prince Andrew's Eastern connections. Very true. Very true. Deborah says, hi from Brooklyn, Michigan. When it comes to honey, it is best to buy local honey. Help with health soaps with allergy by exposing you to local pollen. Exactly. Exactly. Like I buy sometimes when I travel, but that's just because it's kind of cool. But yeah, when it comes to allergies, best to buy local. Seabass says, why would anyone buy anything that wasn't trademark and approved for sale? So trademark and approval for sale are not the same thing. Again, Blake Lively had Blake Brown basically. So when she filed the trademarks, the product was literally in storage in Targets across the country. So you can do that because again, once you file a trademark, everything becomes public. So you don't want to give your trade secrets away too soon. So you have to wait. Approval to sell in terms of actually, let's say, having FDA approval for food products or something like that, that's totally different than trademarks. That's not the same thing. Des Magnus says, doesn't she have to redo her trademarks because she did them wrong? Yeah. Disfan says, Brittany, love seeing your content. You definitely taught me the difference between real royalty and cosplaying royalty. Why, thank you. I hope so. I hope so. That's, I mean, of course, part of the desire here. So Heather says, if her products were made as carelessly as her bath salts, I don't know how safe they are. Yeah. Yep. Creative Chaos Device says, I didn't adopt a cat. It adopted me. That's very true. That's very true. All right. It's Megan like Reagan. So sorry, I missed this. Tell us about doing Dan Wooten early hour filming. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not super bad. Like we treat it like it's live. And so it's not like something where it's like super exciting, I guess. But yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun. Different questions, different ways of thinking about things, which is always good. I don't want to watch too many other people, but it's always good to have sort of that additional stimulation and stuff. So it's fun to have that experience. Steven says, and thank you so much for the super chat. T-shirt arrow logo not on my toast, Megan. Oh man. Yeah, yeah. Oh goodness. So Peggy Spungen says, "Good morning, Brittany. What did you think of Dan Wooten and Lady C's interview with Narinder Kaur? It was awful to listen to. Thank you so much for the super chat. I haven't actually listened to that. If she's the one who kind of was like pro Megan, anti Catherine, or whatever for whatever reason, I haven't watched that. I don't watch too many other content done by other royal commentators just to keep my perspective fresh. That's sort of my idea. So I haven't seen that, but I wouldn't be surprised. I remember her. She was not fun to listen to. She was, yeah. Team Wales, thank you so much for the super chat. My board partners with a company that sells products featuring our logo. It was easy to join and get a small commission. I can private share our website and contact if you're interested. Okay, that might be interesting. Yeah, go ahead and send me an email if you can about it. It's the one that they recommend now because what's cool is that they're doing print on demand for stuff. So that means that you partner with a company and then instead of them having a entire stock warehouse or you having to buy a bunch of products up front, what's cool is that now their facilities and you have the design there and then as soon as somebody orders it, it's printed and it's shipped. So they take care of pretty much everything and then you get a cut of it, which is much better than trying to keep track of like sending things, do things make it. I think I had one or two shirts last year not make it in the US mail, which does not surprise me. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, but feel free to send my way because I'm always interested in seeing what might work and be sort of easiest, if that makes sense. CCA says, does Megan not use a trademark lawyer to help her with the trademark? She does. Apparently hires a very good firm. Once again, the issue is not to the firm. The issue is Harry and Meghan. Brenda says hello from St. Paul, Minnesota. Blue skies and sunny. Trump's first concern is that we the people, and he needs to uphold integrity. All are treated equal in the eyes of the law. Very true. Very true. If Trump is sticking to his, what is it called? Immigration policies, Harry should fall under that at some point. Alice says, "I only have a cat if you're okay with frequent indifference." Carte Blanche says, "Cats are the best." And Amelia says, "Well, technically, Brittany, the monarch, is the only one who can declare war. This government does it on behalf of the crown. Monarch has to okay it." Yeah, but it's like he has to like sign a document, but it's already been decided. So Patricia says, "Good morning from Ohio." It's not like he decides it. Alice says, "But I love them." Tigger says, "Meow too." Aw. Heather says, "I love cats. Cats are fun." Baby Grandma says, "Good morning from Indiana." We have Janice, hello from Iowa. Do we know if Harry and Meghan ever bought a home in Portugal or has that been dropped? As far as I know, they have, but I think they were in the process of building it. So I don't know what's on right now. Deborah says, "My foster dog got adopted on Tuesday this past week. Many happy tears. She got a forever family after 6 months." Aw. Carte Blanche says, "Who is stuck now, Harry?" Harry's stuck. Harry's stuck. Hannah says, "I'm not sure why, but recently the vibe I get from the Meghan stuff is that her and Harry are already separated and then she can still call Harry husband until the paperwork is final." Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're living somewhere separately because she says, oh, she's making like waffles for both her and Harry and then only showing one plate. So all I can think of is that you only made waffles for one person, not two. Jen says, "How much longer are Harry and Meghan going to be newsworthy?" Once the divorce dies out, there might be always a car crash, ambulance chaser mentality when it comes to watching the two of them, but it will die down at some point. CCA says the Portugal thing was made up. I don't think so. I think it was true. So we have Des Magnus says, "Harry lost all respect around the world." He lost a lot of respect. Yeah, he did. Carol says, "Things go sideways due to them not listening to expert advice." Always. Seabass says, "Meghan declared herself the CEO of her company. She said she couldn't find anyone with her vision." Yeah, because her vision is bad. CCA says, "Why does Netflix keep defending Meghan or Markle? Because they spend so much money, they kind of have to happy talk it into oblivion." Christine says, "Just saw you and Dan Woon. Love you two together." Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Seabass says, "Probably a setup." Probably. Creative Chaosify says, "I think the letter to the podcaster was entirely scripted." Oh, yeah, it was. Patrice says, I watched Finding Your Roots on PBS. Megan's loopy cursive reminds me of some old documents that are shown. Yeah, she's not doing anything that hasn't been done for a long time. TD says, podcaster wanted clout. That's all. Well, Megan wanted clout. The podcaster just got the letter. Like, it was so weird because Megan didn't need to send a letter. Because to me, Megan trying to cultivate like a fan out of that, it's just Nisa says it's a 15:20 here in Sweden, so 3:20, I believe that is. Jen says, has the decision where George is going to go to school has been announced yet? No, it has not. Lovely Franklin says, good morning, Brittany. Can you explain the note to the influencer and why she used the crown in her stationery? Because she can't let go for the idea that she's not royalty anymore. So she constantly has to use that. And number two is that she I don't know. It's just a way to curry favor from somebody with a big audience. It's a desperate move. If you're that high up, you shouldn't need to go and try to alleviate the concerns. Like, who cares if she's concerned? Who cares? And it just goes to show too, Megan's sensitive about people calling her inauthentic. Because the whole point was that potentially she was worried that Megan was coming across as inauthentic and as a cut rate Martha Stewart. CCA says Heathrow lost power for 24 hours. Lots of flights canceled. Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy. I'm like, oh, flying there. Hopefully it all goes well. It's Megan like Reagan says, hi, everyone. A. Bertasso says, good morning, Brittany and Ms. Pippin. Everyone, so happy to catch live. I was almost on time today. Well, good. Suzanne says, bonjour from Montreal, Canada. We have Hannah. A lot of Harry and Meghan stuff comes through my newsfeed, but I found that I don't even usually want to click on it and watch it too much. This reaction from myself makes me think they are becoming irrelevant. They've definitely reached some point of oversaturation. Ritz says Pip is on security patrol. Yes, she is. She's a good little member of the puppy patrol. Steven says Megan does as Megan wants. Ashley Hansen, the 3 gates strategy only lasted 6 months with Megan. New lady started 3rd of March. She's regretting that by now. I'm sure she is. Jack MD says, when is the universe keeps telling you that you're a nobody and failure and you can't see reality? Yeah, that's sort of Harry. That's sort of Megan. She's just not good at what she's trying to do. Olga says, what I still don't get is why she uses the title Sussex and the monogram, the crown on her initial, if she didn't and doesn't like and respect the monarchy. Well, it's all she has. So she kind of has to desperately use it. But yeah, it's pretty pathetic. Kieran says, if Harry hadn't gotten himself involved in our politics, censorship, and amendments called bunkers, his visa wouldn't have been an issue. Yeah, if he didn't make a nuisance of himself, we wouldn't care. Clyde says, how did Megan get the podcaster letter? No address strange. It was probably a letter within another letter. I don't think that's a big mystery there. Carol says, Estonia bordered is shared by Russia. It is. TD says, from Buckingham Palace to Kim K wannabe is a hard downfall. It is. It's Megan like Reagan says, Megan is a true gift. What I mean is that she's an outward study of a malignant narcissist that probably has no idea how difficult she is. She really doesn't. She really doesn't. And Christine says, Harley Yorkie says hi to Pippa Yorkie. Aw. Pamela says, I wouldn't buy anything from her. Yeah, I'd it's hard because I kind of debate, because I need to technically buy it to something to review it, but yeah, I don't want to buy it either. Seabass says, question, do you think Harry will attempt to take the kids to Africa? No. Joan G says, does Megan know that 250,000 people in the US have the last name Sussex? She probably doesn't. Christy says, hi, Brittany. Have clocks changed in the US? I nearly missed it. No, they haven't changed. Our clocks have changed. The UK clocks have not changed yet, though. Ritz says, I guess it's what happens when a dim prince gets catfished by a hustler. Yeah. Jack MD says, when the universe keeps telling you that you're nobody and failure, but can't manage to believe it. Jen says the Daily Mail said that they think Megan Sussex's comment was her warning not to take their titles. What do you think? She doesn't really have control over that. Don't be I don't know if I would say a brat about it. It's not going to work. Christina says, what did the podcaster say to make Megan send her a note? That's what I haven't heard anything on the other channels. If you actually watch my full video on it, I show part of her reaction. So she just was watched Megan's trailer and goes, oh, this looks bad. She looks lots of it. I'm not a Megan hater, but a lot of those haters have said she looks inauthentic. And I'm looking at this and she looks inauthentic to me. It's basically what she's saying, that she's trying to be a cut rate Martha Stewart. And she's like, why, Megan? Why? That's what we get. Inspiring So says Megan should have created a business around her love of calligraphy. Since that is something that she loves, it would be authentic and sincere. I also think it would be good market for it. Yeah, I agree with that. That's the only thing that's been consistent for her the entire time is her love of that. But it's also, I mean, it's sort of cool, but it's also really shallow. So Mary Toner says, Morning, Brittany and Miss Pippa. Critic Chaosify says William's visit to Eastern Europe showcased his power of soft diplomacy. He literally just has to show up and it speaks volumes. It does. TD says she would have been better to just date Harry for getting the clout and then have her career or marriage. Doesn't seem to be it for Meg. Yeah. It's Megan like Reagan says, we love seeing you on Dan Woon. You were a great contributor. Why, thank you. Julie says, they say if you have allergies, you should buy honey from your local location because it helps build your immunity. Yes, that is true. CCA says, why has no one seen the kids out and about with their parents? I mean, probably because they go out a lot with the nannies, would be my guess. Sorry, my eyes really bugging me today. We have Dolores Music. Thank you so much for the super chat. One of Jen's Drunk Goose members says she wrote that the letter to change the algorithm from Dear Daddy to this new one. No, I don't think that would work. Yeah, that would be too much for the system. That's not because they're so totally different. I can't see how that would supersede it in the algorithm. That would be weird. Like because it's newsworthy, it'll come up faster, maybe. But like overall, in a couple of years, her letter to her father will still be like supreme. Olga says she knows the only thing she has that nobody else in Hollywood have is her title and her attachment to the monarchy, and she plans to use it till the end. Exactly. Exactly. Marjorie says, I believe Prince Harry is totally devoid of any ambition and drives. He waits for opportunities to be handed to him. This ain't going to happen in California. Meghan is looking to solidify her divorce life. Yeah, I mean, she's already basically naming herself as a divorced woman. Alice Ransom Rave says, the visit to Estonia looked really good and really important right now. He's doing the most overseas trip now. It does make me worry about King Charles. Yeah, it'll be... I worry about King Charles too. Elizabeth says King Charles and Parliament will never take the titles. The king is too weak and won't even take them off the royal website, which he should do. CCA says Markle's monograms everything with that crown and M logo. Yeah, they do. And Enki Buisins says, I caught a live sending regards from Shanghai. Why, thank you. Hannah says, why does everyone say the TIG was so successful? When I looked it up, that's estimated she made 7 to 80,000 from that. Not the best, but she had some fame to back up the TIG. I make six figures, 9 to 5 remotely. Yeah, it really wasn't that successful. They're really overinflating it. It was not like it was okay. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but was it massively this like successful thing? Was it goop level? No, nobody had heard of it unless you were part of Suits or came across her in a different way. Nobody had heard of this thing until she started dating Harry. Dolores says, Brittany, Jen, the drunk. Oh, yeah. Okay. We saw that. Olga says her so-called calligraphy is not calligraphy. It's not even fancy cursive. It's what we call handwriting. Is what we call Dr. handwriting, and it's bad. Yeah. Carol says, Meghan can't follow a social media strategy. Exactly. She ranges between highly curated content and then things where she can't even hold a phone correctly and it's choppily edited. You have to pick one or the other. You can't do both. You have to pick one and go with it. Marcel says, good morning, everyone. Hi, Brittany. Heather says, Brittany, I love RNN and RFN. They are absolutely my favorite royal commentary and fashion channels. Very well balanced and fun. I love the fact that you talked about the other European royals. So vital. Why, thank you. Yes, I enjoy talking about them. And I wish I could talk about them more. It's more of like a time issue and like a time money thing because Harry and Meghan stuff tends to perform better. So I lean on it a bit more. I wish I could do everything, but since it's only me, I can't. So it's Megan like Reagan says, I'm curious what the products will look like on the shelves. They won't be great compared to what's out there. The packaging is boring and forgettable. I think she'll just do direct to consumer via her website. So I don't think it'll get in on store shelves, but the problem is that she has a competition of store shelves all over the country. And I should see if there's anything updated. Like when I go to sleep, I put my phone on do not disturb. Otherwise, it would probably buzz at me all night. Okay. And just seeing if it came. No, nothing for as ever yet. Oh, and I do have somebody who worked with Chelsea Davy. I just saw looking up on Instagram and seeing where things were for Meghan. I have somebody who worked with Chelsea Davy to customize a piece on Aya jewelry, and she said Chelsea Davy is the best. So if you're ever curious, Chelsea Davy is awesome. If you want to have something like custom made, Chelsea Davy and Aya might be one of your best options. Hannah says 70 to 80,000 is 2 days of clothes and jewelry for her. Yeah. Diz fan says, do we know anything about if King Charles is going to meet the Pope Francis when he visits? The plan is yes, but obviously subject to his health. Jay Marie says, I've said this before. Maybe she doesn't care because it'll be a tax write-off, my opinion. Very true. Could be. Cyril Squirrels a lot says, Brittany, did Harry actually meet the Prince and Princess of Wales in Marquis? That was reported where he actually went to Canada Invictus. I find that possible. No, I don't believe that. Carol says, on Neil Sean, the creators were afraid it would not hit so well like the first episode. I don't know. It's Megan Langren says, I saw another channel that the South Park episodes planned out to be in August. Oh, I see. I don't know. Chelsea's Neil Sean said they were being careful with it because the first one was so epic. They don't want the next one to be meh. I don't know. Like, I don't know how he would even know anything about the South Park guys or have any connections there. I just can't see him knowing that much about it, to be quite honest. That's just my thought. This magnet says the calligraphy thing is annoying. Her talent is subpar. Yeah. It's like if the best thing you can do is write fancily, that's like nice. Olga says, as much as I refuse to believe it, she studied the monarchy, Princess Diana, Harry, and everything demonstrates she did. Yeah. Heather said, I heard the Hope has to learn to re-speak. I wonder if that's true. I have not heard that. Very interesting. Creative Chaosify says Harry's eyes in the last episode with Meghan are the epitome of the wheel is spinning, but the hamster is dead. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. No, he knows he has to. He knows he has to perform. Jen says, I think the royals are playing the long game and will change the letters pattern after Archie and Lily are grown, so the kids will need to be educated and have titles. What do you think? I think they could do that now. Meghan won't let him take the kids back to the UK. She definitely wouldn't let him do that. And if she did, then then they have to be more subjected to the rules of the monarchy, and I'm okay with that. Deborah says that her cursive and food planting is stuck in her teenage years. Yeah, it really is. Miss Terry says, I think Meghan lets go of her projects when it's getting difficult and she loses interest. She starts something new and never finishes. Very true. Laura says, what products? Are there actually any products available online? So we know which ones she's doing. She has her raspberry spread, honey teas, and a couple of mixes. That's it. Lisa said she can't define her brand because she can't define herself. Being a narcissist means she's an empty vessel, which makes it hard to sell things. Yeah, exactly. You have to have a decent vision of yourself and what you want to do and everything. And that comes from some self-reflection. Ice Baby S says, God bless Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex. I mean, sure, if you want to. I mean, God bless everyone, technically, but yeah, not a fan. Alana Lama says, good morning, Brittany and everyone from chilly Woodstock, Ontario. Brenda says, hello from St. Paul, Minnesota, blue skies and sunny. Trump's first concern is America. All are equal in the eyes of the law, and Trump needs to maintain integrity. I would hope King Charles would agree. I agree. Jackie. Hey, Jackie. So good to hear from you. It was great to see Princess Catherine on St. Patrick's Day mingling with the Irish Guards and Seamus, the Irish Wolfhound. So natural and genuine. We missed her last year. Yes, we did. We did. Jack MD says, Meghan is embarrassed of her products. It's nothing extraordinary like her. Anna says, one of the reasons I think they are separated legally is because Harry's would be entitled to the money from as ever. Legal separation will allow her to keep that for herself and money from her book. Well, as long as they're still legally married, I don't think if they were legally separated, I think we would know. I think they're still legally married. Or and not in separate, like they could be separated, but not legally separated. Jody says, Brittany, you have to realize she gets to grant money for every time she puts a patent in. Look it up. That's not really how it works. She shouldn't. That's not how it works. A patent is different than a trademark too. So yeah, she wouldn't get any money for that. She would get tax write-off. TD says, Ice Baby, I feel like Harry needs prayers more, that he's bitten off more than he'll ever be able to chew. Red says, fancy jewelry, cursive, and trinket jewelry. Yeah. Sue says apparently the podcaster has ties to WME. Wouldn't be surprised. Elizabeth says Meghan is so scattered. Everything that will stick to a wall. Americans don't like her nor her constantly in our face. Yeah. Christina says Meghan thinks she's too special to sign. Yeah. Megan Des says that Megan's calligraphy is so funny. Yeah. And I always feel like calligraphy is like the old fashioned calligraphy. Pinky Lynn says, "Good morning. Can Megan legally change Harry and the kid's last name to Sussex, or does that have to get approved by the king?" She can do whatever she wants here. She can do whatever she wants here. MTE says she doesn't sign trademark applications because she's not allowed to use her calligraphy. Yeah, and she'd have to write like a normal person. Jacqueline says Harry is a loser. Megan is a harlot. Jennifer says, "Hey, Brittany. Hey, everyone. Good morning here from beautiful West Virginia. It's spring. Woohoo. So glad to be here." Barbara says, "Given the economies today, no one should pay her exorbitant prices." Very true. Heather says, "Hey, Brittany, what do you think about the report saying King Charles is going to make President Trump an offer?" So we talked about that earlier. I'm okay with it. Jacqueline says, "I love your merch. Still have my London and Cotswolds shirt. Can't believe it was 2 years ago." Oh my goodness. I know, right? It just seems so crazy. They don't really offer. I need to maybe find a different company to work with a bit because they don't offer those trips anymore. So I'm like, what do I do? Wendy says, "Home from running errands, do arriving late. Great to see you all. Great to see you as well." Yeah. Aw. Creative Chaosify says that sign is perfect. Very thoughtful. Seabass says it's not silly. You're preserving life. Oh, that's sweet. I love the sign and I love the bird. So yeah, if you guys don't know, I have a sign on my front door that says "Be careful of the nest" in the wreath. Roland says, "What kind of birds?" I really don't know. I really don't know. Chantel says, "Would you sell a chocolate mug with your logo?" I would buy it. Just got a coffee mug from Neurotic. Oh, I'm a fan of Neurotic too. So I haven't. Yes, I do want to get a coffee mug, and this place I'm looking at does make coffee mugs. So I just need to. I just need to buckle under and get the logo and everything out there. But I'm also to considering changing up the crown a smidge. So I'm like kind of debating waiting until I get that done, if that makes sense. So, Steven says Megan's big second toe, Morton's toe, occurs in 15 to 20% of people. Yeah. And somebody was asking about her foot size on X, and I meant to find it. So, guys, if you stalk through pictures on Getty Images like I do, you will see some photographers get the shoe shot, and sometimes you get the behind the shoe shot, and you can actually see the size. I think Megan's about a 38 to 38 and a half, if I remember correctly. Catherine's more like a 39. She used to wear a 38 and a half, but I think since having kids, I've heard your feet can grow, which is a little scary because I have some shoes that won't work if my feet grow even a smidge. But they are, she ranges from 38 and a half to 39, in case you were curious. Because some people are like, "Oh, Megan's got such big feet." She really doesn't. I think proportionally because her legs are so stinking skinny, her proportions look off because she has a stick for legs, and so she has like her ankles, I mean, are microscopically tiny. My gosh. I don't know why, but as thin as her limbs are, and it's natural, like you can't fault her for that. Like if she had more weight, that they would be a bit bigger. But she naturally has very thin limbs and they kind of creep me out. That's just me being totally bare bones, basic, shallow. They just weird me out a little bit. Because they're just like they have no shape. They're just kind of like sticks. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. But just saying that Megan's feet are not bigger than Catherine's feet. I just think Megan's looks disproportionately bigger because her proportions are so weird. That's all I'm saying. So, anyways, Peggy Spungen, who's been a member for 19 months, says, "I'd like to get five memberships in honor of my daughter's 22nd birthday yesterday. Her name is Maggie." And there we go. 5 gifted Royal News Network memberships. Thank you so much, Peggy, and happy birthday to Maggie, 22. Oh, that's a big age. Probably maybe graduating from college this year or something. So very, very exciting. Wishing her all the best this year. So Stephen says Tartans are Scottish in origin. Catherine was in the Irish Guards. Oh, very true. That's very true. Fulong Yulong says, "Hi, RNN family from freezing Huntington Beach, California. Megan as a hostess is exactly like Monica on Friends. Yeah, although Monica, I feel like has some redeeming qualities. But yeah, there's a bit of a Monica thing there. Alice says, although Monica can probably cook better than Megan. Could we say that? Alice says we had a pair of very sweet but very dumb doves tried to nest on a single iron bar sticking out from a wall. Every nest they made fell down. It was so sad. Oh, oh, that's so sad. It's just so cute. Jen Nelson said, "Have you ever considered following along on a royal trip to Australia? You seem to have a lot of RNN friends down here, and we'd love to see you. Sending big hugs to Miss Pippa." Yes. So I was really hoping that would happen last year. Catherine mentioned to somebody that they're hoping to take the kids to Australia, which I would be totally for. They were supposed to go in 2020, and of course that didn't happen. And so, like, I was looking at flights, and it's a long, 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 long flight. So, definitely, it would be probably one of the most expensive trips I did all year. And I'm not embarrassed to say, I was like looking at the first class, going, "Yep, that's probably not going to happen." Because I was like, "Oh man," just because like I need a level of comfort for that. I don't think I could do economy. I think I'd have to do premium select if I did it. Because I think the longest part of the flight is 15 hours, and that's a long time. And I do like the comforts that come with first. I'm not afraid to admit it, not ashamed to admit it. So like not having that would be tough. Just because I feel like the older you get, the harder it becomes. But we'll have to see. Hopefully, maybe I can figure out how to make it a bit cheaper for myself. Because I was like looking from where my airport, I was like, dang, that's pricey. But I'm looking forward to it. I'd really love to go out to Australia. I've wanted to go since last year. So Marcel says, I saw the first 3 episodes of Pamela Anderson's cooking show, and I'm hooked. Such a beautiful, inspiring series. And Pamela Anderson actually lets the chef shine. Is funny and authentic. Yeah. Authenticity is something Megan just really struggles with. Deborah says, I hope creators cover the King and Queen's tour of to Rome and the Vatican. So I was originally going to actually go there and cover it, but I should be traveling during part of it. So I probably won't actually get to cover it too much, but plenty of royal reporters will be there sharing their best. So yeah. Alex says, Catherine doesn't treat him like a child in public. That is important. Yes, very, very important. Very good distinction there to make. It's Megan like Reagan says she's giving him a regular life, unlike Megan, who's going out of her way to make it weird and abnormal for her family. Exactly. On a side note, Creative Chaosify says, I don't know if people know that Queen Camilla's son has written several nice cookbooks. Highly recommend. I do know that. Dis Magnets says mutual respect is key. Harper says, can you believe the letter River received? I don't mean to plug her channel here, but everyone needs to see that letter, how Meghan disrespects King Charles. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I would doubt it's probably real. If it came from Meghan, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. That would make no sense. From her end, she does a lot of weird things, but what we haven't really seen her do is reach out to any really, you could say, critical channels of hers, really. So I just don't think, especially if she did it like in her fancy cursive, I think that would be odd. But I don't know. I haven't seen it. Lisa says, Catherine and her family anchor William, and that's grateful. Yes. Lauren says, if William did anything like my dad, Catherine definitely feels like she has 4 kids. Yeah. Like I think any wife feels like her husband is an additional child at some point in their marriage. But that's just part of the difference between men and women. I think in like a nice, fun way. Like the dad, like, encouraging the kids to, jump into the lake. And she's like, no, but what about they don't have life jackets? What about this sort of they're going crazy. And she's like, and the husband's contributing to the child chaos instead of bringing it down. But it's like all in good fun. That's sort of yeah. I think every wife has experienced that. Diane says, I didn't say hi to Brittany. Hi, Brittany. Miss the members live on Thursday again. I'm so sorry. So we won't have one next week, but the week after. It's Megan like Reagan says, River to even do the stupid monogram on the top. TD says, but yes, traditionally tartan is Scottish, but we are allowed to have them by royal order. So language, yes. Alice says, I think Catherine understands that being in the real world that he does not, and yet I think she's a natural mother and cares since she lost his mother. She might respond to that. Yes. Text 6 Kit Kat says, "Good morning. I thought it was Sunday." Creative Chaosify says, "I would be very surprised if his upbringing didn't leave a toll on William." Exactly. Exactly. Millie says, "Yes, sometimes my hubby acts like my third child, even after 22 years of marriage." Yeah, I think every woman feels that way. Heather says, "I do love Queen Maxima. She's awesome." Rich says, "Flamboyant Maxima, flamboyant grande Maxima. Love her." Yes. Just chilling again says, "Happy good day, all." Marcel says, "Oh, cool. I have to get Pamela Anderson's cookbook. I'm not vegan, but the food looks so good." Heather says, "The Dutch have my favorite tiaras. They do have a wonderful, wonderful collection for sure." Texas Kit Kat says, "What are the colors of the eggs?" So they are sort of, I want to say, like a pale yellow with a couple small flecks of dark brown or black. And they are very small, very small. Creative Chaosify says, "I think there are applications if you submit a photo, it tells you what type of species it is." It probably does. Wendy says, "Perhaps you have a wren and they build house just about anywhere." Yeah, that makes sense. I think that was one of the options I saw. So it was, they're so cute though. I just want her to I just want the little babies to be born, and mama's just sitting on the nest trying to make sure they all come to fruition, which is really cute. Water said, "My students had, when I was a teacher, had more creative food ideas than Megan." Yeah, I don't understand it. Cosmic Pulse says, "As an Irish woman, the green waffle showed me that Megan knows nothing about Ireland or St. Patrick's Day, and also isn't interested to know. The waffle looked gross." It does. It does. Yeah, it's almost kind of offensive. And the rainbow makes so much more sense to me. Why wouldn't you do a waffle rainbow? It makes so much more sense. Or if you're making a green, like it's like literally the sole thing was making it green and then making a freaky face on it. I'm like, oh. Renee says, "If she had a lifestyle brand, the horrible waffles were a big mistake, a big miss. My daughter saw it and without knowing it said it looked like a queen." Yeah, it's not good. Carla Go says, "Love your videos." Why, thank you. Princess says, "The whole meal was stomach churning. I wonder if she had to force the kids to eat or drink it." I mean, I don't know, but I just feel like shoving a phone, I can't imagine shoving a phone and showing you guys my milk. That's just and it's green. So it's gross. Rich says, "ASMR creeps me out. I cannot watch and hear people eating. It's so unnecessary." It is. It is. On loudspeakers, at YouTube headquarters, it felt like it was like, it felt like torture. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they are torturing us here. Why are they doing this?" Stephanie said, "River's letter was satire." Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Yep. That makes 100% sense. Yeah. Texas Kit Kat says, "Member for 2 months. I checked out your itinerary for France. Why, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And we're starting off in Nice. There's a day trip to Monaco, and then we go further into France a bit. And it's kind of like Provence, but something Provence. And so I don't want to say the wrong thing and give the people the wrong impression, but I'm very excited. So it's going to be a good trip for sure. AB gave a super sticker. Why, thank you so much, AB. I really do appreciate it. That is so kind of you. A Pratasa says, "All the consideration for a bird's nest, including the sign, is not silly at all, Brittany. It's very lovely. It's so sweet." Why, thank you. I don't want anything to happen to the birds. I'd feel so bad. I even ran outside the front. I even am using the back door instead of the front door. Front door is not used to right now. Panagolita says, "Brittany, imagine if Megan sent you a note too. What would you do?" I'd be like, "You're being weird. Don't be weird. Don't be weird, Megan." Uh, Des Magnet says, "Luckily, Megan lives by Disneyland, so she can get her tiaras. I'm surprised she doesn't wear a tiara every day. Odd." Yeah, I'm surprised too. Debbie says, "I had a bird make a nest in my plant last year. I was surprised at how sturdy the nest was." Yeah, I can't wait to inspect it after the birds are gone. World Gone Mad says, "Brittany, can you talk about Queen Rania and her daughter pushing Bushra to the side and worried Bushra is overshadowing them this Ramadan? Queen Rania and her daughter are solely in the engagements without Bushra." So I haven't seen Bushra. Is that her mother-in-law? I'm not sure. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like to me, sorry if I bumped the mic there. One of the things about Raina, which would not surprise me, I don't necessarily know that, but I think she would be nervous about a younger woman or anybody taking attention away from her. I think she definitely likes being Queen of Jordan and likes being in the spotlight. And of course, the challenge is now she has a daughter-in-law who is young and beautiful. And not that Queen Raina isn't, but I think Queen Raina has had a lot of the work done. So she strikes me as somebody who's desperate to still keep her youth. So I don't know quite the context. I should look up Bushra. And so, hold on. So, let's see here real quick. Predecessor, no. But anyways, yeah. Yeah, if you're talking about like Rajwa or something, I'm not really surprised. So it's just one of those things that's the challenge in the royal system, I would say. Kieran says that waffle was store-bought and looked like a cheap one with the nasty green coloring. It was completely different impression to the actual waffle maker. Plus, the decoration looked like the kids did it. Yeah, a little bit. Stephanie said the Daily Mails are being clever by repeating stuff. They write it so that their commentators can take the info and conclude, say what they can't legally say, but also the Sussex knows the journalists know about it. I mean, it is a way to sort of, again, continue to sort of, you could say, undermine Harry and Meghan. So Sam Wolf, A Life of a Military Wife. Yeah, if anybody wanted to start creating affordable sweets without artificial dyes, and then my kids would be super happy. Yeah, very true. This fan says, Brittany, what is your take on Megan's comments about the Irish Catholics on Drew's show on St. Patrick's Day? My poor grandmother, who was Catholic and inspired me to royal watch, is rolling over in her grave. Yeah, so I don't believe that story. Honestly, I really don't believe that story in the slightest. The kind of the giveaway is this Irish Catholic family. Why in the world do you remember they were Irish Catholic? That's like 20 plus years ago. I did babysat for a couple. I know she had brown hair. I can't even think of what he looked like. They had a little baby. I would take care of her like on the weekends so they could go out to like dinner or something. And so that's like all I remember. I remember they were like well off. They were doing well as a young couple, but that's like all I remember. I don't remember their religion. I don't remember their names. I remember nothing. So this idea that Meghan knows like this, she can say specifically this Irish Catholic family really like and two Irish Catholic families. It's just not one, but two. Just makes me really, really question that story 100%. Red Boot M54, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, I had a bird's nest behind my wreath on my front door. Three chicks hatched and one egg didn't. You're not a dork. I put a sign on my door too. Oh, I thank you. That makes me feel better because it's like, I don't want somebody like no solicitors and stuff. Don't like, we'll try to avoid having too much to scaring mama too much. But I mean, she had to know we were there because she had to be building the nest while Miss Pippa was going out on the porch. So, like, there's that part of me that feels mixed because, like, she has to know we were there. But it sort of makes sense because I could hear birds chirping on my porch for a while. And I was like, why are they there? Like, what are they doing and stuff? And then it sort of like when she flew away, and then I really noticed it's like, oh, they built a nest. She built a nest on my front door. No wonder I was hearing the chirping. Water says yes. Harry's service in any service is an honorable thing. Very true. But he's acting like he is a war hero when he is not. Yes, that's 100% right. That's where I have an issue with it. It's like he's proclaiming things that were never I feel like true. Alice says the thing I dislike about his obsession with the military is he swore allegiance to the Queen and country and served the country, and now he's turned on it. Does he support British charities? Nope. Yeah, very true. Through the Looking Glass channel with Alice says, has anyone heard a warehouse to store these items, or will she store it in her garage? I haven't heard, but I mean, I imagine it's somewhere. But you can sign people to NDAs and stuff like that. Text 6K Cat says, I have a beekeeper near me who even delivers honey. Local honey helps with my allergies. So true. So true, and it's starting to bloom here. So. Yep. TD says, I love jam and shortbread, but if I was thinking of an online business, I don't think jam and dried flowers And I'm Scottish, a bit dated, but I don't get her thinking here. Me either. The thinking I think here is bad. I think that she's so bad. Kimberly says, why does she constantly shows the kids' hands? It's so bizarre because she has to be really, really weird because she can't show them, but she wants to show them. All right. So Melby says, good morning, RNN chat. Brittany, can I just say, in terms of describing sale of food cost territories, your content was by far the channel that made it easiest to understand. The clarity was epic. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. I'm so glad you found clarity in what I was saying. That's what I like try to do. I hope people learn and can take something from what I say, not just like diss on Meghan, but it's like what is she doing wrong and how can somebody else maybe learn from it? That's always what I hope. Deirdre says, why do you need mix for shortbread? It's 3 key ingredients. Same with crepe mix. Pointless. Obviously, no market research done, but that's not fun and pretty and fun. Yeah, exactly. I don't think any market research has been done here. And I don't think there's a need for a shortbread cookie mix because I don't think people make shortbread cookies. We just don't. Like, if there's again, the market is king here. So the market will tell you whether or not something's like good. So yeah, maybe she'll get some sales, but will it be as good as sales as she could have had? Probably not. Or will people buy again? That's the question. Alice says Prince William, who never went to the war zone but bravely and well as a pilot is now supporting armed services around the world. Harry could have done that if he had stayed. And honestly, too, I think William saw a lot more because as an air ambulance pilot, he saw a lot of terrible things. Rebecca Foster said, good morning, everyone. I got a wee bit late this morning. Hope everyone is having a great Saturday. Creative Chaosify says, any news about other European royals? Sorry, that one snuck in there. So, I mean, a couple of things. We have a couple of state visits coming up. Maximum Wilhelm Alexander went to Kenya last week. We have the Swedes had a gala dinner. We have upcoming state visit to Luxembourg from Singapore. Mary and Frederick are going to France. Princess Isabella's birthday stuff is in April. King Felipe and I think Queen Letizia both went back to Valencia, or at least Felipe did, and he got a warm welcome. And sometimes I just don't hear as much about the other worlds, and I'm trying to like track things down. And I need to get out the Crown Report. I just realized that the written version, I failed to get that out this week. Oh my goodness. Okay. Deborah says, I've eaten lots of Girl Scout cookies in the past few weeks. Thank goodness I survived. All right. So we have Andra says, the U.S. having a connection to the Commonwealth. No, the Commonwealth is one place Canada can be away from the U.S. Say like Meghan would want to change everything to make it the U.S. Commonwealth. Yeah, it would be interesting to see. CCA says, Andrew fought on the battlefield. Why not Harry? Like allegedly Harry did, but I just feel like it's way overblown. Isa Texas says, I've learned to only use birdseed when with hot taste that it does not attract rats. The last thing I want to see is a rat. Birds love it and they don't taste the heat. Interesting. Wanda says, good morning from Toledo, Ohio. Rich says, Prince Dum Dum is still being covered for which is appalling. He's not at the head of state and should not be treated as one. Exactly. Alice says, you can usually figure out the type of birds from the color of the eggs. Yeah, it's like, I just got to work on it a little bit more. They're so cute though. They're so cute. Babette says, listening to history podcasts about the French Revolution, they compared Harry with the brother of the King of France, jealous and spiteful. Which king of must have been Louis the 16th? Because actually Louis the 14th and his brother were actually, I think, well, there were some ways where the brother was jealous, but at the same time, they let sort of the brother have his sort of sexual proclivities and stuff. So, I mean, always the heir and the spare issue is always a constant issue. It's always an issue. Rebecca says, would you consider selling to us and never complain, never explain? The last t-shirt you sold is still my favorite. Yes, I will definitely consider selling this one. So I just that was rather cool. I like the cursive and stuff on it. I'm just enjoy it so much. It's so fun. Diana, member for 15 months, says, I've been quiet, but have been catching the whole live. Love the news of the baby birds. Why, thank you. We will be sharing more as they come about. Fever Jean, thank you so much for the tip this morning. I love the nest. As a kid, I came across a robin's nest when camping. Timing was perfect to see the 3 babies hatching over the weekend. My dad wouldn't let me get too close, So I climbed to a nearby tree to watch it with my binoculars. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. I can't wait to see them hatch. Like, I hope to see them like little, and like when mom's gone trying to get food, I'll like go back and like take little pictures of him. So they're just gonna be so cute. So Shoes says, "You're cheering me up today. I've been watching too many UK political programs." Why, thank you. I'm so glad you're being cheered up. And then we have, "Hello, Brittany. How come we don't see the full interview of Harry and Meghan on Oprah anymore?" Ari from the Philippines. It's just not there. Like, I don't think Oprah wants people to watch it again, but I don't think any of her programs, like even her interview with like Adele, is available, like the full thing available. And it's sort of frustrating because I can't go back and update things, and it's very frustrating because I'd love to do like a full review because I remember watching it. I remember the little bits of things, and I have a pretty good memory, but it's not flawless. And it's before I had the channel, so yeah. Hudson says she should have just relaunched a bigger and better the TIG. She could argue the trademark. She had a name for years and already had a foundation. It's easier to merge old with new. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why she didn't do the TIG. That would have been so much better. I don't like the TIG name, but at least it was established because now she has too many competing names. We have With Love, As Ever, American Riviera Orchard, the TIG, Meghan Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, Meghan Sussex. Like, it's just insane. Princess Goose says, "I can't respect anyone who defends Meghan because of the color of her skin. That's reverse racism. There could be a defense of Meghan, but I've not heard a logical one." Yeah, kind of exactly. Ocean Gal says, Narendra was an awful person. Awful. She was a mean person. I'm surprised her and Markle are not friends. I can't believe how she attacked Lady C. Unbelievable. Duchess of Dub says, "I have known odd behaviors and stories of YouTubers have noticed from wedding till today. I miss Yankee Wally and Daja Zone, who were there to first talk in late opening about Meghan. Much love from Canada." Why, thank you. So Therese TD says, Narendra is not a nice lady and disrespectful to her own community. She has to the cheek to call unconscious bias constantly. She's a disgrace. Yeah. Yep. Creative Chaosify says, "I still think that when things get desperate, Megan will sell things like with the Cypher logo, the one with the crown. Probably. Probably." Renee says, "Megan claps back to every criticism. It's insane." Exactly. That's what she's constantly trying to do, is trying to constantly combat the criticism. I mean, I appreciate somebody like going the Paltrow. She doesn't care. She just relishes in it. She's making money. Why does she care? Melvie says, he won't attempt to do anything Megan doesn't approve first. That's probably true. It's Megan like Reagan says, "It's not hard to find someone who addressed in the US. Sadly, it's all public record. So it wouldn't have been hard for her to find any podcaster." Very true. Very true. Like, you can kind of sort of hide it by buying it under a corporate name. That's kind of how you can do things. Ella Wynn says, "You offered a great commentary on Dan Wooten." Why, thank you. Why, thank you. There's some like bits where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got this really well." And other things I'm like, "Oh, I didn't do that quite as well as I should have." MCF says, "I don't think she wants to trademark. I think she's assuming this assumption because no one sends in paperwork like this and she doesn't sign the application. She does it to herself every single time." Yeah. It's Megan like Reagan says, "The podcaster said, I'm scared people are going to say she looks fake as F." So Megan writes back, "Don't be scared for me. This is fun for her." Yeah, like, you can read some real weird things into that. It's like really just a really dumb move. That's what it was. Sheepy says the victim card didn't work, so now she wants to be brave and tell people not to be scared. She's just wearing whatever personality she thinks will sell products. Yeah, which is ironic because the one thing she's not doing on social media is selling her products. Mary Miles says, "Do we think the Meg really is leaning into just being a troll since that seems to be the only thing she's good at?" I don't know. So Abby says, "Did Megan's ex Trevor said that Megan had a hysterectomy?" I thought I read somewhere from that. No, he never said anything about that. He's never said anything about that. It's I think something seems to be maybe made up more from the Markle side. I wouldn't put any stock in it. I would ignore any report of that. Any report of that. Water said, "I wouldn't call King Charles weak. He's just letting his father's side overpower his king side," which, as someone who is in a family with a similar situation, I cannot blame him to a good degree. I would agree with that. American Riviera Orchard, Montecito of California, USA says, "I don't understand the top line of each letter in her calligraphy." Yeah, it's just fancy cursive. Patricia says, Brittany, we voted with our thumbs, poor reviews and low viewership. How can we influence Netflix more? When will they listen to their base subscribers? So they're in it too deep now. They're not going to back down until they have a good legal recourse to get out. And that's what we got here. So it's dumb. They're quite frankly not that bright. And so yeah, it's not that great. Steven says both the TIG trademarks lapse. New ones are pending. So I'm not surprised by that. She's just not very good at this trademark thing. She should just go and just do it. Do it. Yulong says Neil Sean said he knows one of the South Park creators well. I'm surprised. Christina says, "Oh, I will definitely go out and wait to listen to the Cressida podcast." Margaret says, "Love Cressida." Yeah, Deborah says, "What's the name of Cressida's podcast?" What my mother taught me or something, something to that effect, which I think is actually really sort of genius. Sort of genius. There's endless content to mine there. Creative Chaosify says, Harry has a lot of therapy, but do you think Meghan ever attended real therapy? A good therapist would immediately pick up on her narcissism. No, and I don't think Harry is under the leadership of a good therapist either, to be quite honest. Because what we see here is a situation where Harry is just like constantly treading and it's just not going anywhere. It's just not doing well and stuff. So it's one of those things where I think he's not in it, not with a good therapist. Dale says, have you heard the rumors that Meghan and Marcus Anderson are no longer friends? True. We know she drops friends, but Marcus knows so much, but Jessica did too. I saw that. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm just kind of thinking about what that would mean because he was there at the South by Southwest event. Like he was Harry's plus one in the audience to watch Meghan. So like he could be really busy and not, there's not that much for him to do in their relationship or something. I don't know, but I did think that was sort of interesting, and I wouldn't be surprised. Louis says, "How about the Montecito Minimalist? Do you have any idea who's behind it? Because it's brilliant." I don't, but again, I was thinking about ordering something, but I can't justify ordering something when the shipping is so much. Like, and I know why they're doing it that way. Like, it's probably the actual cost of shipping, and I don't behoove them for that at all. Some of the stuff is expensive. And obviously, if you're a small operation, like you can only expend so much. But at the same time, I'm like, my order is $46, but my shipping is $26. And I'm like, we're getting into like $70 here. And I'm like, I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I might order something from there though. It's Megan like Reagan says, but after I did watch some of his old videos to see if any of his predictions were proved correct after, and there were many. Very interesting. Louis says, how about the Montecito? Oh yeah. KCA says, when her so-called friends speak, she looks annoyed. She does. Missy Lulu says, Kristen Cavallari is back on E. She created an e-commerce website in 2007 called Uncommon James. She sells jewelries like signet rings, perfumes, and household items. So these are something where you can actually put your individual spin on something. Like Meghan's products, you just can't. There's just not that many ways to make spread. Renee says, here in Brisbane, Australia, love your commentary about all royals. So informative. Why, thank you. GJ says, Megsy is waiting for Robin Lee from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous to call. She's living a world that no longer exists. So true. Wendy says there are way too many vicious secrets between them. They may separate, but never divorce. Dirty couple. I mean, I think they'll divorce at some point, but will they be separated for a long time before they publicly announce any sort of separation or divorce? Yes. Cindy says King Charles should change the letters patent to say, to hold the title, he must be in line of succession. Yeah. Phantasmic Ether says, thank you for the gifted membership, Peggy. Yes, and Maggie as well. Recognize Maggie and her birthday. Marjorie says, let's hope Prince William changes King Charles's minds and does the letter of patents. He's not Charles, dear boy, any longer. He would sell out. Yeah. Water says, I want RNN merch. Yeah, I know. I need to work on it. Christina says, Brittany, please make the coffee cup big, not like the little 11-ounce ones. I will have to see. It depends on what's available. Again, it's all comes down to what is so like easy to do. So, Christina says, Megan to me looks like she's an eating disorder or a severe health problem. I really do think Megan's, where some people are talking about Megan's limbs here. I think they're just natural, but they're just weirdly thin. And I just don't think all that attractive, in my opinion. And so I don't think that's like Duchess of Dub. It's an awesome millions talk and how they disdain from the Meghan Markle grossness. Oh, Sharon says everyone's foot length is from your elbow to your wrist. No, that's not true. Because my foot's bigger than that. Like I'm almost positive my foot's bigger or smaller than that. No, maybe not. About maybe. It's Megan like Reagan says, Brittany, we do love a basic wall swallow. I thank you. I know, and I've been sniffly on this podcast too. I'm sorry. Stephanie says, once you're in your 50s, your feet flatten out and effectively no longer need you to go up at least at one shoe size. Keep that in mind when buying shoes that you expect to last as you approach that age. There'll be some things I've actually gotten a bit more into. Also, I was like, okay, I need to stop buying high heels because I can't really fit in the high. Not that I can't fit in the high heels. I just have such a hard time wearing them. And I also have like a bone spur and like feet issues from my break. So like my left foot doesn't bend like it should. And so it's just, yeah. Karen says Megan also wears more flats, not high heels. Like it depends on the event. She kind of switches back and forth. It's Megan like Reagan says, Brittany, your days of economy are over. This is a business expense. You have to upgrade and fly and get those flyer miles. That's very true. I feel like I can like totally get to a certain level of class in the airlines. But yeah, definitely. I'd like if I don't have to fly economy, I don't want to. Missing 411 says go to Singapore, first break the trip in half. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Duchess of Dub says Meghan Markle's body shape makes fashion awful and besmirches creators of those fashions. Yeah, she has a tough. I won't criticize her for in a way because I do know she does have a tough time. I don't think things look like it's so her body composition is so strange. Like I don't really wish that on her in some ways because it just looks weird. Taylor's right. You're right. The older you get, the harder. So true. So true. Sylvia says, I'm at Costco. There's a huge jar of organic strawberry jam for $9. Exactly. Exactly. And who would need something that much? Jackie says, hi, Brittany. Come to Australia via Sydney. It takes a long time to get to the UK and the States to Australia is well worth the trip. We would love to have you and show off our country. Yes, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to hopefully go sometime here in the near future. The next year or so. I don't know if I could do it this year, but maybe next year or something. I don't know. It's hard. Like, oh, I hope so. Gloria says, Brittany, any news about Harry's visa false declaration? Like nothing really. It's kind of a big old dud. Hudson says, what the F is penmanship class? We learned penmanship and cursive in English class. You can't structure a class for penmanship lasting a whole year, not even in private school. Very, very true. Very true. I would suggest and honestly as well, does anybody like you have to struggle to read Megan's stuff in a way. Like her let us remain calm cap is sort of terrible because it's hard to read. You need something that's easy to read. Patrice says, your logo doesn't seem to be on the upper left corner. I don't do it for lives, only for the other videos. Missing 411 says, do you know how much that trip would cost business or first class? Well, the airline I was looking at was saying like 15 grand. So like, that's probably impossible. Not going to lie. But I don't think I could do economy. So I'd have to do comfort plus or hopefully premium select. Those would be my options. So yeah, I was like seeing 15 grand. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I take that same flight to Europe. And I was like, sometimes it's not that much. And I'm like, how is it $15,000? That's insane. But it's also a long time. But like, I like to structure my flights sometimes where it's like one length is one class and the other links are a different class or something. So if I like left out of LA, maybe it might be different. Buquita Girl says, a question, why did do Megan's wear shoes that were too big in the wrong size? Soon after her wedding dress, Peely says this is what actresses do in Hollywood. Is that true? Somewhat true because your feet do expand, but I have an issue. I think I have really high arches and narrow heels. And so even if I buy my quote unquote size, my heel tends to pop out quite a bit. I'm actually sort of anxious to try the new Christian Louboutin heels, Miss Z, that are supposedly pretty comfortable. They have like an extra cushion for support and they have a bigger toe box. So I'm wondering if it's a bigger toe box, if I might have like a better shot, because like I'll get those little bump things that are supposed to make the fit around the heel be tighter, but what it does is shove my toes into the shoebox more, which makes it about as uncomfortable. So it's like all over the place. All right. Christina says, Brittany, any news about Marius? Not much, except for that might be pursuing charges against a woman who claimed that he stole a scooter. So apparently he has pleaded guilty to the other charges. I didn't see that article, but he has pleaded guilty to the other charges, except for the charges regarding assault against women. Those are the ones he's like, oh no, I'm going to fight against those. So it's like, so you're guilty of everything else. I would imagine you're guilty of that too. But anyways. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Aletha says, hi, Brittany. Looking forward to the new podcast by Cressida Bonus. She seems like she would be interesting to listen. Definitely more successful than Megan's attempts. Yeah, because it's a good concept, number one. It's like a halfway decent concept. I don't think Megan's concept is necessarily bad, but she's a bad interviewer because she does not have a successful business. I don't believe she can pull things out of somebody else about business that would be all that applicable to me or really anybody, because she's been a failure there. So how can she ask the questions she needs to and everything? Melby says, it was great to watch the Babs leave the nest, learn to fly. Often bigger birds would come near to us and just sit. Aw. Eyes of Texas says, I bet the eggs are those of a house sparrow, maybe a yellow warbler. I'd say sparrow. They're so tiny, so itty bitty. Peggy says, thank you so much for the birthday wishes for Maggie. She's graduating from college in May and would love to go on Brittany's trip to France as a graduation gift. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. We would have a fun time. We'd have a fun time. And we do have one of our girls who is going on this trip this time. She went on the England trip. And so she doesn't really watch the channel much, but her mom does. So she has been able to go with us, which is so fun. Texas Kit Kat says, I just Googled your egg description. Birds known to lay yellowish eggs with speckles include house sparrows and Carolina chickadees. Ooh, we'd have to look. They just have to get up and tall in the for some reason, I think chickadees, I think low to the ground. So they definitely had to get up on the door. Alice Singh says, good morning and good job on Dan Wooten's show. Why, thank you. So White Rabbit says, found you through Dan Wooten's Outspoken. Your thoughts on if Meghan gave birth to Archie and Lily? So I have always been on the opinion that yes, she did. I know that's controversial. But for me, when I see her, like, when it comes to her giving birth and stuff, you can tell she gained a lot of weight. She became very, very puffy. She struggled really to lose the weight. And sort of what I consider is that Meghan Markle is a narcissist. She wants to appear as perfect as she can. So her carrying around extra weight and not snapping back as fast as Catherine did would drive her crazy. And so I don't think it's something she could necessarily help. And I think as well, she just wanted to play games. So when it came to the birth of Archie, like they wanted to get one over on the press, I think, and they lied to them, which kind of cemented the surrogacy things, which was not their intention. But you know, what do you think when you make implications in the press, you tend to have like knock-on effects, and it tends to be not so great. So it's one of those things where it's really, I definitely think she gave birth to the kids. I think they're hers and Harry's and everything, but did they play games and did that blow up in their face? Yes. And yeah, it's just one of those things. So I believe, and honestly, again, it comes back to, would I be surprised if she kind of padded her bump to make it look bigger or to make it look better? Yes, I would 100% believe she did that. But does she do that solely? No, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. Obviously, as well, when it comes to surrogacy in the UK, it's very difficult to pull off. because you can't pay the person, so they have to like voluntarily do it. You can only compensate them, I think, for clothes and like transportation and a couple other things. When it comes to the US, yes, you can pay for surrogacy, but to have the surrogate like fly to the UK or fly the baby would be very difficult, very challenging. Also, as well, just in case you weren't aware, if this my understanding is that if the surrogate gave birth to the child, it would legally actually be her child until paperwork is filed for Meghan to legally adopt the child. So again, surrogacy in the UK would have been nearly impossible to pull off. It just would have been very, very challenging. Meghan clearly gained weight, especially towards the end. I think most of her weight came towards the end. And then she really struggled to lose it. Like, and she gave birth, what, in May? And in July, she was still like her compared to Catherine and Pippa. And it would be like me compared to Catherine and Pippa, to be quite honest. She looked rather large compared to them, and they're very thin, so and very in shape. So I think Meghan wouldn't want that, except for she couldn't avoid it. So that's my thoughts. Olga says, Brittany, why do most of the other monarchy families send their kids and heirs to study and live in the UK? It's just like connection things and maybe better schools, or they wanted to have different experiences. And you can get out of sort of the bubble of living in your country. So that's kind of what we did. So Magnus says you can book smart. You can be book smart, but not life. Very true. I think Meghan too was book smart in terms of that she could pass tests, but she would, I think, in many ways just struggle generally with things. So like she's not somebody who could think on her feet necessarily. She could answer a question on a test, but when it comes to writing and being persuasive, I don't think she could be very good at that. All right, guys. So we'll just wrap up here real quick. Creative Chaosify says, I think Meghan carried the kids, but took IVF hormones with Lily. She was much puffier. Rumor has it she chose an embryo with blonde hair and blue eyes. Who knows? Yeah, I would not be surprised if she used IVF for either pregnancy, but especially the second, and that she specifically chose a girl embryo would not surprise me in the slightest. Vicky says, Brittany, she could take hormones to mimic pregnancy weight. There are too many holes in her story throughout the pregnancy. No, that's too much. She would want to snap back like Catherine. That's the thing. She would want to be thin immediately after giving birth. She'd want to do as well as Catherine did, and she didn't. And the reason she didn't is because she actually gained the weight. And to say, oh, she took stuff to gain the weight and everything, you start to get into the realm of you're trying to put things in that try to make the story make sense, instead of just that she just went a little crazy with it and was way too obsessed with it. And the result is an obvious mess. Because that's kind of what Meghan does. Christina says, I don't understand why Harry would allow speculation to continue, considering the speculation about him being with James Hewitt's sons all those years. Yep. You would think. The ones, of course, always hurting the ones closest to them are mostly Harry and Meghan. Marion Day says, I so agree about the children, but I feel sorry for those children. Shame on them. Prince Harry. Yeah. TD says, why was her announcement so much different than the rest of the royal burst? Probably just to be difficult. Yeah, she was just being difficult. She was just being needlessly difficult to get her way, to get one up. And yeah, it was stupid. It was utterly idiotic. It's Meghan, like Reagan says, and she hates being a mother, is very much against her narrative of what's a good woman is. A doting mother loves being with her kids. Yeah, Becky says Meghan definitely carried Archie. She blew up. She did. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think it goes to show that she definitely did carry. Because if she didn't, like some people even said she took hormones to like lactate. I'm like, we're getting into the realm of starting to get a little bit too crazy here, trying to make this make sense. The simplest explanation is usually the one that is accurate. The simplest explanation is that she wanted to play games. She hates not being in control. She wanted to get one over on the press. And the result is a continuing mess. It's Meghan, like Reagan says, and saying she hates being a mother is very much against the narrative of what being a woman is. Oh, we already did that one. Carte Blanche says, I agree with about the pregnancy. She looked pregnant during that Oprah Winfrey interview. She really did. She looked very pregnant. Son, she says, that's where I lose the plot for her faking the pregnancies. I don't believe Meghan would have voluntarily gained weight just for show. That's where I am too. I don't think she would have done it. Sue says Meghan just needs to dress her shape. Very true. Very true. Melby says, then there is the much discrepancies in time or that speculation. Can't remember too much ... going on. Yeah. And I think some of it's been sort of magnified over time. Ritz says she is very mature and incapable of handling conversations with anyone, lacks social skills too. Yeah. Texas Kit Kat says Hollywood tricks actors go to lengths to fatten up. Yeah, but not here. She would want to look at like Catherine did after Catherine gave birth. Heidi says, what test did she pass? I don't know which one. Marjorie says, children's education. I think the royal family sends the children to UK schools like Ian and Harrow so they will not be the odd man out. Helps them fit in. Yeah. Yeah. Melby says Meghan is nowhere near as smart as she thinks she is, and it all comes back to bite her. That's the thing. So yeah, Rich says Harry constantly saying UK is too dangerous for him and his family is a farce and a lie. It's just an excuse to cover up. Yeah. He just doesn't want to admit the failure of his relationship and stuff. CKP 2 Aviator makes sense, Brittany, about her really being pregnant. Maybe she just doesn't want to discuss it much. It might be a self-image thing, and she doesn't want to look back at the time when her body was bloated. Yeah, I think she probably hated her. She didn't like how she looked at all. Heather says she was very puffy when she introduced Archie at the palace. She was. Stephanie said, not if she wanted to breastfeed, Brittany. Breastfeed is a side effect of hormones for that. She could have been happy to put it up with the breastfeed. It's not crazy. Mothers use surrogates to it. No, it's again, trying too hard to make it work. And the truth is she might not have wanted to breastfeed because it damages her breasts and it makes them, sometimes you don't come out of it looking great. So she might have gone, I don't want to do it because I don't want to deal with it. And she might have wanted a night nurse and stuff and wouldn't have wanted to do it. And so she wouldn't have dropped the weight very quickly. So again, it's so much easier to just go with I just think trying to make the surrogacy stuff work is just, it goes into the realm of starting to make things up and trying to make things more difficult than they need to be in order to make it the story work. And so I just don't think, when it comes to the partial hysterectomy, I don't believe that's true. I don't, people put a lot of stock in the Markles. I think they can make things up like the best of them, to be quite honest. So that is my thoughts there. Carol says, Carte Blanche says, breastfeeding didn't damage my breast at all. It actually improved them. Yes, I think it's been hit and miss. So Stephanie said, you're trying too hard to totally discredit the surrogacy suspension, Brittany. It's so much not convincing. There's a valid questions to be answered. I just think people want to believe what they want to believe. And the truth is just easier here. And I will always go with what is easier rather than what is like all this needless speculation. I don't like needless speculation. You can't prove it. It's ridiculous. Nothing will happen. Even if you can prove it, it won't change anything. So I just don't think it's necessary to go down that path. And it's one of those things where you probably can't prove it to the point of overly focusing on it means that you're missing bigger stories. And that's what I think it is. I would just say at this point, just ignore it and just focus on what's happening now. That would be mostly my suggestion. But that's just me. That's just me. I like to be simple for the most part. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a wonderful live stream and have a wonderful weekend. And I shall talk to you guys again soon. Bye.